good morning. It's now time for another edition of Freedom with Steve Nichols, brought to you in part by Sam Dennis Law, personal injury attorney, methodical, prepared, and battle ready, and by Kilby Family and Cosmetic Dentistry, dental care for the whole family. Now, available on Facebook, YouTube, Discord, and freedomnetworks.com each weekday morning from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Here's your host and last best hope for freedom, Steve Nichols.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Freedom with Steve Nichols, broadcasting live every Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here in the SGAwater.com studio in Valdosta, Georgia. Appreciate you tuning in. Go to SGAwater.com. Schedule your free water test. You need to know what's in that water. You drink it, you bathe with it, you brush your teeth with it, you cook with it. You need to know what's in it. You can simply do that by going to SGAwater.com or calling 229-251-1100. Thank you for tuning in this morning. We do the pledge and the prayer to start each and every day. That's sponsored by Ross Automotive, 432 Connell Road, open until 6 p.m. They give a 10% discount to all those who are currently or have served in our military. Great American Patriots over there. Major or minor automobile repair, routine maintenance, free brake inspections await you there at Ross Automotive. Great guy, great group of people there. Family owned, locally owned business. Y'all go there for all your automotive needs. And if you have a need to, park something like an RV or a boat or a trailer or a spare car that you don't use every day, he's got some space back there in the back. You can talk to him about that too. He can help you out. Let's go to the Lord in prayer this morning. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for our lives. Lord, thank you for the opportunity to spend it with loved ones and friends. And Lord, thank you for being able to make new friends and experience new things and just be around good, like-minded people, Lord. May we be a beacon of light and a pathway to you, Lord. May we introduce others to you. Just give us that bold spirit to go out and tell everybody about you, Lord. May we remember that everything we do is in a spotlight. Other people are watching, Lord, and if we profess to be Christians, and we want to make sure we put our best foot forward and don't put try to not make mistakes that other people will look and say, well, that guy claims to be this and he's doing this, Lord. We know that you were sent. You sent your son to cover our sins, Lord, and we repent from them sins, and we understand that we were born in sin and we're going to make mistakes, Lord. We're just thankful for the pathway to heaven, Lord, the chance to redeem ourselves and be forgiven, believing in faith, and make it to the kingdom of heaven. Lord, protect us as we go about our day, Lord. Protect everybody's homes and businesses and ventures from the weather that might be coming over the weekend, Lord. May we get a lot done today before that rain gets here. Lord, just guide us, protect us, and keep us. We love you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Now let's say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 229-469-1417. That is the Valdosta Transmission Hotline. Need you to call it if you've got something on your mind, because the show is about what you want to talk about, not what I want to talk about. I know what's in my mind. What's on your mind? What are the things that are happening in this country, or have happened in this country, or could happen in this country that are on your mind? I want to know about it. Let's discuss it. Let's talk about it. Let's see what other people think about it. We bounce it off their heads. We have a comment section. If you're listening on Freedom with Steve Nichols live on Facebook, you know about it. If you're on Twitch or YouTube, you can make your comments there. They'll funnel into the comment thread where I can see them, and I can bring them up. And if there's something interesting or any comments there, I'll be glad to share that with you. So y'all get up, get at them, start punching in. I like to talk to people, on the phone. So please exercise that Valdosta Transmission Hotline number, 229-469-1417. And if you find yourself having transmission trouble, by all means, go see our friends at Valdosta Transmission. David Flower says, Braves still on a roll, half a game behind Mets because the Mets won 2 yesterday. They played a doubleheader, so we're behind the half game. But Braves looking good right now. I think the playoffs are a lock. I just soon win the division and get there, but that's just we'll just have to wait and see how the season plays out. I don't know how many games are left, probably 20, 30. I don't know. I hadn't been paying attention to the total, but good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody that signed on this morning. Glad to see everybody on there. Love seeing the usual suspects on there. Like to see the occasional new one on there too. We have a lot of new people listening on Twitch and YouTube. We've got freedomnetworks.com, which is something I need you guys to get. I need you to get accustomed to going to and visiting that frequently. That's probably the one thing you can do that don't cost a dime that could help me the most in our growth is to get in the habit of going in and out of that website often. Freedom Networks, that's with an X. I'm going to spell it FreedomWorks.com. The more traffic we get through that, the more impressive it'll be to potential advertisers and things like that. So y'all can help me by pushing those numbers up and get it going like that. Rain's supposed to be in the area today. Sherry says it's misting rain in Brooks County already, so might be a little wet out there today, but we'll get through it. Terror in Memphis, teen accused of deadly shooting rampage. He streamed it on Facebook, or somebody streamed it on Facebook. He was released from jail just 6 months ago. These are the things that make your head scratch and, or make you scratch your head, I should say. But he's accused of killing 4, injuring 3 others in a rampage that was streamed on Facebook. Police in Memphis, Tennessee arrested a 19-year-old repeat offender suspected of shooting and killing 4 people and injuring at least 3 others in a rampage on Wednesday afternoon. The suspect, Ezekiel Kelly, is also accused of 2 armed carjackings that happened as he attempted to flee from police. Authorities said the rampage was spread across at least 8 different crime scenes. This guy is a direct threat to mine and your freedom. He is a direct threat to mine and your freedom. Why was he walking the streets? The suspect, Ezekiel Kelly, is also accused of 2 armed carjackings. I read that already. The string of shootings were reportedly live streamed on Facebook in the city Wednesday. The suspect was taken into custody following a major manhunt. Police confirmed to Fox News Digital that Kelly was arrested after crashing a stolen car near the area of Ivan Road and Hodge Road. Police said multiple felony charges are pending against Kelly, who has a previous criminal history. Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland revealed during a press conference that Kelly was charged with attempted first-degree murder, but pled guilty to a downgraded aggravated assault charge in April 2021. Now, this is where it makes you scratch your head as a American patriot who believes in freedom, who believes in his Second Amendment rights, okay? They, meaning the left, the anti-American crowd, in my opinion, based on their actions and based on what I believe the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and the Declaration of Independence says and means and intends, okay? They want you to believe that if they pass more gun laws restricting me and you, that somehow, miraculously, things will get better. Now, it's obvious if you have been found guilty of a felony, you're not supposed to possess a firearm. And somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but is aggravated assault a felony or is that a misdemeanor? He was accused of first-degree murder. He's been picked up 2 previous times. He only served 11 months of his sentence, a 3-year prison sentence, and he's turned back out to repeat this nonsense again. Again, I say, if you use a firearm in the commission of a crime, then you should forfeit your right to own a handgun forever. In my opinion, there's no going and serving 11 months and getting back out there. But here's the problem. The criminal doesn't pay attention to the law. So we can make any law we want to govern the criminal, but he's a criminal because he breaks the freaking law. Do y'all see the problem here? Do you see the stupidity of this? Do you now see the stupidity of the ad that Stacey Abrams runs against Brian Kemp, talking about constitutional carry with the cop? It's probably Dodo Cop. I don't know who he is. Do you see the hypocrisy, the sheer stupidity of it? I'm not the one that needs a law govern my use of a pistol or a rifle or a gun or an AR-15 of any kind. It's obvious that the law is not working, that the rules are being broken. So your attempt is to regulate me to the point that it forces the criminal to follow the law? Insane. Insane. So if you want to talk about that, we will, but I think we all are on pretty much the same page there. High school teacher brags about sexually explicit material at a school. A California high school teacher boasts, boasts a queer library with material on orgies and BDSM kink. Warning, this article contains explicit information, it says. California teacher in the Capistrano School District posted about a queer library in her classroom that was filled with over 100 books, some of which contain sex imagery, information on orgies, sex parties, and BDSM. I have no idea what that acronym stands for, but it's probably not something we all particularly take part in. The teacher at San Juan Hills High School, identified on the school's website as Daniel Serio, is known as Flint. Flint posted repeatedly on TikTok about books in the queer library and said it was available to students and has been active for 5 years. 5 years. Many of the details covered in the books are being withheld from this story due to its extremely sexually explicit nature. One of the books, Juliet Takes a Breath by Gabby Rivera, contains extremely graphic imagery of sex between women. Everything you ever wanted to know about being trans discusses BDSM fetishes at a kink social media networking site. I find the BDSM kink community to be extremely open-minded and welcoming in every way, and it's a place of sexual liberation, the book states. There's often more blanket level of acceptance of transgender people with the kink, BDSM, bondage and discipline, dominance and submission, sadism and masochism scenes, and it's in sites such as FetLife. I don't know, you'd have to Google it. FetLife is a social media networking site for the kink community. The kink community. These are people who have already opened themselves up to a greater range of romantic and erotic possibilities, and transgender often just adds to the smorgasbord, the book states, about those in the kink community. Another book called This Book is Gay discusses the casual hookup site Grindr and includes detailed information on how to have anal and girl-on-girl sex. We all want to have sex with loads of people, the book states. The prostate gland feels amazing when massaged. Lots of men, gay or straight, like how this feels. I can't even read no more of it. It gets a little bit it's a little bit over the top even for me. So anyway, here's the thing. Who among our listeners believes it's okay to have this material available to kids at the high school level? Is there anybody out there that honestly believes that that's okay? If you are a parent that lives or that has students living you in grades 9, 10, 11, or 12, Do you want that material in the high school in case your child is interested or curious in those things at the high school level? I'm just going to be completely honest with you right now. If the answer to that question is yes, I would just as soon you check out and not listen to my show. I particularly don't want your business. I don't want your number. I don't want your hit on the website. I don't want your advertising dollar. I don't want nothing to do with you. I can't be any more clear than that. And if you have to be explained to why I wouldn't want that in the classroom, then that's just further evidence that you really don't have any business listening to a show based on the founding principles of this country. You just don't. I see a bunch of no's, negatives. It's not okay. It's just not. It's not. Most anybody, I don't care. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you believe in God. I don't care if you don't believe in God. This is wrong, and you know it's wrong. You should know it's wrong. This is something that should not be involved in the education process of our children. Even as a native Californian, I vehemently disagree with that garbage being accessible to students, period, Richard Todd says. She is an adult. They are children. The material is pornography. That is against the law. You would think it would be, but in California, maybe it's not. I don't know. Sandy says, what's the difference between this teacher and a pedophile on the dark web spreading child porn? I would say one difference is that you have to you have to get on the web to see that. And if the parents are letting the children get on there to see that, that's something they need to police. But having it available in the public school system is egregious. And of course, obviously anything related to pedophilia on the web or anywhere is egregious. But having something like this in our public school system, the taxpayers of California, they should be rioting right now. if not, at least at their school boards complaining about it. This is bizarre. It's absolutely bizarre to me. Good morning, caller. You're on the Valdosta Transmission Hotline. What's on your mind? Good morning, caller. You there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Oh, okay.
You there?
Yep, we're here. What's on your mind, T-Rex?
Well, how would you like to get the perspective of a librarian on this that has served in a state school in this state?
Let me hear it.
School in this state.
You
want to hear a good story?
Yes, sir.
All right. I was working at a technical college, and we have dual enrollment. They're the teenage high school kids that use our computers. And I had a complaint from a college student that one of our dual enrollment students was watching pornography in the computer room. Well, I couldn't catch him.
Right.
And I started to really question. I sized up the student that was being accused, and I kind of sized up the accuser, and I didn't, following my instincts, which didn't serve me right this time, I just didn't believe the accuser. He looked like a little smart ass, and the accused seemed to be an academic student. He was always quiet, sitting in the corner, minding his own business, working on the computer. So I gave it no mind. And anyway, we had something called Barracuda software that looked to be a fairly tight firewall. I couldn't even get Smith & Wesson website up and look at pistols on my downtime.
Right.
Barracuda wouldn't let it through. So I felt kind of felt good that kind of crap was being blocked. Well, I had a young lady then a couple days later come and the same complaint, same student. I couldn't catch him. Well, a couple days later, another young lady came around and said, he's on it again. As a matter of fact, 5 girls came in at this point and said, you need to walk around to the left and get on behind him and look through the back window. And I did. And yes,
Wow.
he had some pretty vile stuff up. And how it gets in is through social media. The Barracuda couldn't block the social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of this.
Yeah.
These kind of things. And I guess they attach recordings to it.
Probably.
And not only was I believe he was 17, 18 years old. He was a high school student, but he was in, the nursing assistance program. So, of course, because I spent a lot of years in healthcare, that immediately set up a red flag to me. So I embarked on a one-man crusade to get him out of the program, which I finally did with the help of the program director. He had no self-control. He was caught multiple times on that computer. That wasn't after I got clued in. I caught him about 3 or 4 more times, and that's when I got him bounced out of the program because I felt like he was trying to position himself and as a nursing assistant to get near vulnerable people. And I've seen things happen when I worked at the hospital. I couldn't allow that to happen. And
yeah, that's probably a good move. Yeah,
I wouldn't let my eye get taken off of the. I just think the print books is kind of you got to be careful. The print books aren't the danger here. The danger's on that internet. They can't stop what's coming on that internet. The books.
No, I agree.
I wouldn't have those books in my library, no doubt.
Yeah, I agree.
Damn internet.
I agree. I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna tell you what you got to zero in. I'm gonna tell you what you got to zero in on. You got to do just like you did in your store. You got to zero in on the person. And in this case, it's this crazy ass teacher that thinks it's okay. She's actually bragging about it, talking about it. And I quit reading because it was getting a little more explicit than even I want to get into. But y'all can read the articles on Fox News, on the Fox News website. It's right up there on one of the main articles. But she's the problem, okay? She's the one putting these books in there. This is not a curriculum-based type thing. The school board, the school, they're evidently, from what I gather, they're not the ones that's responsible in the as far as getting the books in there. This is this person doing that. She's created this what she calls a queer library, and that should not be allowed by the school. So you've got to zero in on the person, and the person or the people that zero in on the person are the parents and the school administrators. And I hope if anybody gives a damn in California about this sort of thing, and I question that. I don't know if they do. Now that this article's out, I would expect in the next few days another article following up where irate parents are addressing this, because you're right about the web. Sandy's right about the web. This crap with pedophilia and wanting to rename them instead of, I'm going to call them pedophiles, because that is the nastiest word I can think to call them. And I'm not letting them change what we call them into what Renee put on here. They want to be called minor attracted person. No, you're a pedophile. You are the devil. You're the scourge of the earth if you prey on minor children for any reason, based on a sexual way, especially. That's a heinous crime, and you are the worst of the worst. You're a pedophile. You are a maggot, and I just assume you not be part of this society. So we've got to stand up. I'm about sick of this shit, Troy. I'm going to be honest with you. I am tired of it. I am tired of this shit being shoved in front of my face, not necessarily my face, but my children's face. Every child at that high school knows about that queer library. It is the talk of the school. And rather than studying math, history, science, and English, they're talking about dildos. That's what's in the article. And I'm sick of it. It ain't happening. It ain't happening in my school system.
Library? I wouldn't have it in my library.
That's my point.
I'd
right
have
there.
it in the garbage can the next day if somebody.
Yes, sir.
If I was,
yes, sir.
If that was the library I was officiating, it wouldn't be there. I can promise you that.
Yep. I don't know that I would, if my child was a senior at that school, right or wrong, I don't know that I wouldn't be talking to. I can imagine Charlie being in that school. I know my son, and my son knows me, and he knows one thing in this world is his daddy's got his back. And if that crap popped up at Cook County High School, I would be trying my best to. I don't know that I could stop myself. I'd be saying, Charlie, I need you to go there tomorrow. Well, first of all, I'd try to handle it, but I'm just follow along. I believe Charlie, if I gave him just any kind of slight signal it was okay, I believe he'd take a hefty garbage bag in there with him, and he'd march over to the queer art library, and he'd start unloading the shelves of that shit. I'm telling you. It ain't happening here.
I'm sure that would spurn that librarian to action then.
Well, let her come on. Come on. I'm ready to fight the battle. I ain't putting up with it no more. And what you just said, I appreciate what you said. That would not happen in your library. It wouldn't happen in the classroom of the school teachers that listen to this show.
I wasn't going to let that little worm sit in there where I was working and sit there and knowing where he was trying to go. And with the absence of self-restraint that he had after me multiply catching him on that crap when he was warned again by me and the dean, and keep going there in my face and in a nursing assistant program. Hell no.
Yeah.
No. Because nobody will step up. Everybody is afraid that there's going to be retaliation against them. And yeah, it's a real fear. I suppose really in California, I would have lost my job as a librarian, but I would have stand there and been counted. I'd made up my mind. I was going to stand there and be counted where I was at when I made this stand. I was not going to let that fool get himself positioned into a place where he was near vulnerable people, children, elderly people that can't fend for themselves.
That's right. You did a good job.
No self-control.
Yeah. You did the right thing. You did the right
thing.
Damn
right I did. And I'd have thrown that garbage out of my library too, but most librarians probably. Well, I'm not going to speak for most librarians, but I'm tempted to. I'll say this: I'm glad I never had to deal with public schools or university. I'm glad I was in. Probably the reason I made it 15 years that I did before I got canned is I was in the technical college system.
Yeah. I want to ask you a question as a librarian.
Have a lot of that garbage there.
Yeah. I want to ask you a question as a librarian. What's the process of getting books for your library? In other words, is it common for books to be donated, or is there a screening process, or does the school or the institution you work with, do they have a board that orders these books? What's the process for and I know you hadn't been a public school librarian, but try to imagine that this public school librarian or this teacher, it says that she gets most of her books through donations. That's a problem to me. So anybody can donate any book, and any teacher can decide what she wants in her library. Is that how that works?
Well, what you talk about is the practice of collection development. And in the technical college system, we would grab anything we could, really. But I had a little bit of experience with some high school students with the dual enrollment program, and sometimes even their parents would come into the library. But it was mostly about how to acquire things on the internet. Now, I can say this: how I would approach this as a public librarian is I would have taken this to the public, because in a public school library, I would view the parents of these students, minor students, as major stakeholders of that library under the principles of librarianship, and I would have brought them into this argument. And hopefully, what happened in Virginia would happen at this school too. But you would, instead of, as a librarian, just making a unilateral stand yourself on your own principles, I would hope that the community at large would be opposed to this queer library. And if they were, then you've got a pretty strong contingent behind you. You have to be a little shrewd here and a tactician. If you come charging out and make it look like this is your effort, they're going to shoot you down. But if you get the parents behind you as a stakeholder, I think you, as stakeholders in the library, which they clearly are as taxpayers, and their students are attending there, that's the approach I would have made.
I got you. 10-4. Well, it's just amazing to me. And then when you look at I'll get lit up for this, but I don't really care. It's just honest. When you look at the person that's doing this, the teacher, the San Juan Hills High School teacher posts about gender identity on TikTok. I don't know how else to say it. I don't know if it's a girl or a boy, a man or a woman. I have no earthly idea. I'm looking at it, but I don't know. I think it's probably a girl. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know that matters. I mean, it's just
what she has done is put a separate collection in that library. I refuse to believe the whole library is dedicated to this. So there's probably a section of the library. And again,
it's called the queer.
The
the queer.
Is just as culpable as her.
It's the queer section. That's what they call it. What do they call it here? They call it the queer library. It's a section in the library that's the queer library. It's the queer section. It's like you go to Books A Million, you can see the outdoor section, you can see the automotive section, and to the left you got the queer section.
My thing is, as a library, that there may be a place for that in a university library if the book is in print. I think the books should be out there, but it has to be age appropriate. I just can't conceive of anybody thinking that is an appropriate collection K through 12.
That's my point. I don't care if an adult's in the whatever those words were, the Kinks or whatever. I thought the Kinks were a singing group myself.
Exactly. But for the 15 to 17, 18-year-old crowd, all it is a joke at that age. And for the age demographic below that, it's confusing.
Yeah.
That's my belief. Yeah, that is age appropriate. That's an age appropriate issue in my mind as a librarian. Anyway, good luck to them in California.
They need it, brother. They need it.
T-Rex. I just wouldn't don't ever let them take your eyes off that internet with some books, because them books that's not where those students are going. Those students are going to that computer and watching it real and on video. Those books. They aren't reading those books. Trust me. I've said on posts on this show before, the best way to get a kid to avoid pornography is put it in print, put it on a library shelf.
Yeah, they'll never look. They'll never see it.
They're getting.
Well, the problem is in this situation now that the word's out, every student in that school's going over there and checking them books out now.
Exactly. Yeah. Now they've got it all churned up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, too bad we couldn't have Smokey the Bear and Dr. Seuss up there.
I know. Dr. Seuss is not very popular among liberals, so that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, I know.
Yep.
Okay, whatever.
All right, brother.
I said, I'm glad I'm working where I am.
All right. Well, have a good day, T-Rex. Appreciate the call.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. 229-469-1417. It's just ridiculous. It really is. I mean, I believe in America. I don't believe the book. I'm like T. I don't believe the book should be banned. I mean, if they want to print those books and try to sell them on the internet, do whatever you want to do. But there's got to be some age appropriate rules in this country, standards. And this is why this whole transgender shift and these rules want to be changed to allow children of certain ages to transition and stuff like that. I don't care if you got your parents' permission or not. A child shouldn't be doing that when they're a child. The repercussions of things like this are very, very serious. And you can't make decisions like that. You shouldn't be watching porn when you're a teenager. You shouldn't be thinking about transitioning when you're a teenager. You shouldn't be doing that. That's just fundamentally wrong. Good morning, caller. You're on the Valdosta Transmission Hotline. What's on your mind today?
Yeah, you should be worried about hobbies or you're chasing your female or male girlfriend, boyfriend, depending, and all that good stuff, and sports and whatever.
It's bad enough to hear what the other people on the playground are saying at the school. They're hearing all this. I mean, we're not prudes. Yeah. We know, but you don't need to put it readily available in the queer library. That's just ridiculous.
As with most things out there right now, it's probably the minority, but they push it out there in the media so much that it makes it so much more known. And it's really probably a small percentage, but still it needs to be a lesser percentage. Absolutely. Anyway, I had a question for you, John Schaffer, Jimmy Zinker. I asked, and everybody know you can't really follow along. I don't know if John's on right now or not. Are any of those dry target practice things like iTarget Pro or any of those things any good at all? Has anybody ever used those versus using ammo for target practice?
I've not had any experience. I'm aware of what you're talking about, but I don't know. I don't have any input about it. I know they're getting more and more popular, especially in big cities and things like that.
More out there.
Yeah.
I know people like, I know John, he's invited me over there to come, the time, but between scheduling timing, heat, and now it'll be hunting season pretty soon. I just didn't know if anybody had any experience with any of that and if it was worth anything at all or not.
Well, you got it out there now, so we'll find out if anybody does out there in Twitch land, YouTube land. I didn't get cut off of YouTube yesterday, which is amazing. But anyway, we're currently on 5 platforms, so maybe one of my listeners, Marco, I think Marco. He says iTarget is great, so he's had some experience with it.
Yeah, I've seen iTarget Pro. There's a few others out there, but I was just curious. That way, if you can't get out to a range or don't want to spend the money on the ammo or the range or whatever the case may be, you may have another option. I didn't know if it was worth it or if it messes you up. I don't want to get worse. I'm not a good shot. I'm not a terrible shot, but mainly because of my eyes. So I don't want to go out and waste time and people's effort and money if I can't, be good at what I'm doing.
Tenfold. Well, there we go. There's one response. Right. Appreciate it, man.
Yep. Y'all have a great day and a good week.
All right. You too, man. Thank you. All right. 229-469-1417. iTarget. Y'all got it, or iTarget any of these laser target type things that's designed to be able to target practice without actually shooting ammunition? Does it diminish your shooting skills? Is it worth the money? Is it worth the effort? Should anybody got an opinion on that? Please chime in if you will. What else here? Let me look at some of y'all's comments on all this. I know that we all probably feel the same way. Sex education used to be about reproduction and biological differences, not how to insert what, where, and how between same-sex people. Moral values have changed so much in this country. Anyone that condones this is sick. I agree. And let me get this. Let me just understand that I got a smart message on the messenger thing here from somebody that feels like I'm transphobic or whatever. I am a heterosexual male who loves women. I have no problem with sex with a woman. Okay. I get it. But I would not want no books on that subject at the high school. I would not want the high school to have any sort of instructional manual on how to have a pleasurable time between a boy and a girl, which as a Christian, I believe is the way God intended it. Okay. But I don't want a book about that on the high school shelf, no faster or no differently. I couldn't be more vehemently against that. It has nothing to do with same sex, different sex, transformed sex, kinky sex, BDSM sex, sex in a tree, sex on your knee, sex with bees. I don't care what it is. That stuff don't belong in the high school, okay? So get off your transphobic bullshit and pay attention to what's happening at the high school level. It ain't got no business in there, man. Jeez. Are you going to tell me? First of all, listener, you can message me back. I got it right here. Are you a parent? Do you have children? That's I guess the simple question. My guess is no, you don't. And if you shockingly write back and tell me that you do, the next question would be, do you want your child reading that material at high school level? If you do, I don't know why you listen to this show. 229-469-1417. Lots of comments here. This is something that gets under my skin, and I know it does yours too. Yours too, I should say. We need to ban all this crap, but instead we want to ban God and throw him to the wolves. We need to ban it from the high school level. There's no doubt about it. And I don't know why anybody can't see that. I can't. I can't. I mean, it's not an abridgment of free speech if you ban that kind of crap from the public school, high school library. Come on. It's not. You can print it, sell it at Books A Million. You can put it on the internet, do everything you want. I believe in that, and I'll support you with that. I think it's filthy. I think it's wrong. I don't think it pleases God. And it's my job as a Christian to shout it down. But as a matter of constitutional principle, it's freedom of speech. I'm with you. It just don't belong in front of kids. That's as simple as I can put it. That's right. That's constitutional. It's moral. It's principle. And if you can't see that, dude, I don't know what to tell you. I just don't. 229-469-1417. It's not just God that's been thrown out. Common sense has been thrown out, and like the proverbial baby with the bathwater. I agree. You know, let's take the Bible. There's a lot of people out there not Christians. They got a problem with having the Bible in the school. I get it. If you're a non-believer, you don't want that pushed on your child. I get it. That's why we generally don't have the Bible in the school. I totally get that. And in the schools that do have the Bible in there, the Bible's closed and it's up on the shelf. There ain't nobody really calling attention to the Bible section of the library and actively pointing people that way and causing this big brouhaha up to somehow indoctrinate your child into going over to the Bible section. That's not happening. But it is happening with this filth. Look at it. Shows a picture of them wheeling the new books in there. They're making a big deal of. They're advertising it. They're promoting it. If it was like Troy said, if it was just a book shut up, closed on the shelf, and nobody was talking about it, ain't a damn soul would read it. There's something to be said in that statement. 229-469-1417. I don't like how they try to push it on us. It's so aggravating. Live your lifestyle. Stop trying to slam it on folks. That's it. That is it. That's it. That's a different. I mean, gay marriage. If two people want, if two people want to go get married, that's not shoving anything on me. But if you forcing me to have something in the school system, in children, that starts trying to teach that that's okay and that's acceptable, then I got a problem with that, because that has nothing to do with learning. It's not the school's place to teach whether or not it's okay to be married if you're of the same sex. It shouldn't be talked about. It should not even come up. If you're in the classroom and a student raises his hands and said, Miss Jones, you think it's okay for two guys to get married? Well, little Johnny, that has nothing to do with education, and that's something you need to talk to your parents about. It ought to be that simple. Miss Jones, you think you think the Bible's right when it says "Thou shalt not"? Little Johnny, that's something you need to talk to your parents about. We're here to learn how to do algebra. Now, I don't know why the hell we're doing algebra. You won't use algebra any day the rest of your freaking life, but that's what we're here to learn. And anything about the Bible, same-sex marriage, whatever of those, that's adultery, idolatry, stealing. I mean, y'all just talk to your parents about that. We're here to learn about math, science, reading, arithmetic, math and arithmetic, same thing. English. That's what we teach here. But see, we've screwed up. We let them teach other things. We didn't know it. We didn't know they were teaching it. We didn't know that they were saying that, you know what, class, I think it's time we should have universal health care. You know what, class, it ought to be a woman's right to choose whether or not she wants to have an abortion or not at any time during the pregnancy. That's up to her. It's none of your business. We shouldn't protect the life. We started letting things like that creep into the school. Now, luckily, we live in God's country down here. For most of us listening to this show, we're here in South Georgia. We rarely hear of any kind of thing like this that goes against the grain of what we believe here in South Georgia on a Christian level or on a moral level. We don't see a big problem yet, but if you look around, it's starting to creep into it. I actually had to spend time. I had to actually spend time in a discussion with my children about kids. I still don't understand it. They're dressing up and going around and barking at each other and meowing at each other and communicating like dogs and animals and they think they're cats and dogs and then you got the boys dressing like girls, the girls dressing like boys, going into each other's bathrooms. I'm having to have that conversation. So here in God's country, little old South Georgia, Cook County, it's here. It's here. And the question is, what am I doing about it? What am I doing about it? And that's the question you should be asking yourselves. I know one thing I'm doing about it. I'm explaining every chance I get why it's wrong, why it's ridiculous, why it has no business in that school. And I'm having those tough conversations. Well, why do they think it's okay, Dad? Well, because they're lost. 229-469-1417. Pastors battle skyrocketing burnout amid bitter politics. Bitter divisions over politics and the pandemic have seeped into churches and led to increasing rates of job burnout among pastors, multiple clergy members, and those who counsel them, told Fox News Digital. Our faith does not exempt us from anxiety, depression, temptation, or COVID, so that's to be expected, said David Ferguson, executive director of the Great Commandment Network, which provides counseling initiatives to help pastors. But in addition to that, we obviously are in a real divided, polarized, politicized world where sadly at times pastors feel the pressure to take positions on every imaginable topic. I can see this happen. I've heard stories in other churches where the politics of the pastor is dividing the church and it's tough. It's tough out there right now. And this division is that's what we talked about the other day after Biden's speech. He always, they all do it. Republicans and Democrats are like, you elect me, I'm going to unite the country. No, you're not. Let's just be honest. That ship sailed. We're not going to unite. We are as divided as we've ever been, and it's only going to get worse. If this division has infiltrated the church, think about how bad that is. Sunday morning, we get up, we get dressed, we eat breakfast, we're smiling, we got our nice clothes on, we go to the church, we're shaking hands, we're hugging. We take the time at our church, at a certain point to turn around, we greet our neighbors, everybody's shaking hands, we're just happy. Brother Mikey gives the message, we're all leave there and everything's fine. That's the way it's supposed to be, right? Well, it's starting to get to where politics, my loud mouth on the radio, is affecting my relationships with other people in business, in my circle of friends that's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Those at church, they go through the motion to turn around and greet you and they shake the hand, but it don't have the same oomph to it as it used to. Because I had the audacity to take the heel of my boot and stomp on their toes when it comes to the issue of abortion or gun rights or taxes or health care or, who I'm voting for and who you voting for. And it's combative now. It's divisive. It's ugly. It's nasty. We're divided. So what you have to do is start really looking around you, surrounding yourself with like-minded people those who share the same values, kind of like we do here. 90% of us, maybe more, we're all on the same page. Yeah, we may have different slight views, but we know the difference between right and wrong. We try to get it right. We know you shouldn't have pornographic material of any kind in the freaking school library for a 10th or 11th or 12th grade or 9th grader to see. We know you shouldn't dress up as a dog at the school or bark or pretend all day you're a dog when you're in the 7th grade, or a cat meowing to everybody. What the hell's the matter with you? We know that's wrong. We know that's stupid. We know it's not just some phase you're going through. It's something we need to nip in the bud. You meow at me one more time, I'm going to pop your jaws. That's what we're going to do down here. And y'all call that child abuse you want, but I went to school with a handprint on my face, and it was effective. Heard it said that we are in a cold civil war. I think a cold civil war. Yeah. I don't know that I disagree with that. I think we're there. U.S. planning military testing site in Saudi Arabia. Verizon survey, financial fears grow among small business owners with inflation top of mind. Inflation, there's some articles came out yesterday about Democrats here in Georgia. Their waning support of Stacey Abrams. Polls show that she's actually slipping in the polls. She's not gaining, she's slipping. And we all know the reason why. It's economic. Right now, we are in the Biden economy, and the unarguable fact is that this economy is not good. Inflation through the roof. We're making less money. We don't have people available in the workforce that wants to work. Interest rates are climbing. Gas is still $3 a gallon. We're looking at going into a winter where most experts are predicting heating oil being $5 a gallon. It's going to be 185% increase over what they're paying now. You know what that means? If you pay $100 a month for something, you have a 50% increase. That's $150 you're now paying. If you have a 100% increase, you're now paying $200. If you have a 185% increase, you're now paying, you can do the math, $285 or so. I mean, it is incredible. That's an incredible increase. Bobby May says he paid $3.06. Yeah, it's still over $3 right now. And the Democrats would have you celebrating that. They'd be saying, hey, gas has come down to $3.06. And some people are going, yeah, it's gas is down to $3.06. I'm like, you idiot, you paying $3.06. Wasn't $2 better? Come on, man. Oh. Where's the tipping point? What does that tipping point look like? I don't know what it looks like. I've thought about it a million times. I don't know. Sometimes I just think we're just going to sit here and take it. That's what we're doing. We're going to sit here and take it. We still keep voting the same old way. OPEC is indeed fixing to reduce production. That'll shoot the price back up. Right now, it's holding. It's went down to right at $90 a barrel. $89.29 is what it is currently. That's a decrease, big decrease of $3.81 per barrel in the past 24 hours. So it's trending the chart down. It'll kick back up as we enter the winter, like it always does. And in the history, it's just natural. Even I don't care who's president, whether it's Trump or Reagan or Clinton or Carter or Obama or Biden, there's some norms. So you're going to see a price increase over the winter. That's a naturally occurring thing. Normally, though, this is the danger. Normally, the production in the winter is not decreased at a very dramatic rate. So you've got two things going against this oil. You got a decrease in the production, which traditionally drives it up, and then the demand drives it up too. So you're going in opposite directions. Demand's going up, but the production's going down. Recipe for disaster. Cryptocurrency, 19,196.94 is what Bitcoin is trading for as of right now. That's down 4.2% over the past 7 days. Dow Jones Industrial Average, it was up 435 yesterday, gaining some ground back over the 5-day period it lost. Can't tell about it. I don't know. If you knew how to predict the stock market, you'd be a rich person right now. I do not, and am not. National debt, $30.875 trillion and growing at a catastrophic rate. The U.S. federal budget deficit right now is trending down, which is good news, but it's still $1.452 trillion. That means we're spending that much more money than we're taking in. And that's before the latest rhetoric about student loan forgiveness, the Inflation Reduction Act. When all this starts hitting the books, that will be climbing back up. Mark my word. What else? California wildfires are spreading as the state gets walloped by brutal heat wave. Star Trek icon Michelle Nichols ashes to launch into space. Son Kyle calls Enterprise mission a great honor. Biden's inhumane open border policies devastate Americans and illegal immigrants. You're not hearing much about the border in these midterm election ads. At least I haven't. I could be wrong, but I've not noticed it. When Eric Adams or Mayor Beetlejuice gets upset, or the Washington D.C. mayor gets upset, you'll see articles about them being mad that Greg Abbott's sending them up there. But as far as policy arguments, hadn't seen anything. It's curious to me. Let's take a quick call before we go to break this morning. Good morning, caller. You're on the Valdosta Transmission Hotline. What's on your mind?
Morning, sir.
What's going on, Glenn?
Oh, out here riding around, brother.
Well, you loud and clear this morning. That's good.
Good deal. Maybe it'll stay that way.
Maybe so.
You mentioned the conversation with your kids about the students walking around acting like they're dogs and cats or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I heard a news story a couple of weeks ago about some teacher somewhere. Place really don't matter. It didn't make no. I didn't pay no attention to it at the time. But a teacher had got in trouble for not. Evidently, there's a student at school that identified as a cat and walked around meowing and purring and all that kind of junk. Mm-hmm. Well, the daggone teacher wouldn't meow back at her.
Mm-hmm.
The teacher wound up getting in trouble because she did not recognize that girl identified as a cat.
Hmm.
And now you're telling me that students around here are doing that. Mm-hmm. That pretty much tells me that this is kind of a nationwide thing.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it is a thing, and it is real. Now I haven't seen any stories around here that that it's necessarily being condoned or propped up or encouraged or anything like that. And I think it's a little more subtle here than it is nationwide or in some other areas that I don't think they purring and meowing and barking at the teachers. I think it's just something that they do among themselves. It could be just a goof, you know what I mean? I don't put a whole lot of stock in it, but it definitely is occurring here.
Well, what gets me to thinking is if it's a nation, I mean, if me and you, and I'm just using us, metaphorically, if me and you was in high school, we decide we want to bark at each other every time we seen each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing.
Exactly.
I can see maybe
that's
our
right.
little clique of friends.
Mm-hmm.
Every time we'd talk in dog language, but dude, if it's a nationwide thing, who started that? I mean, how did word get out? Okay, we're all.
Well, you got social media. It got out on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever the things they use. That's how it spreads like wildfire now. You remember back when we were, and you may not be so much aware of it. I'm aware of it because of the floor covering industry, but we would see trends. You'd see trends in fashion. You'd see trends in decorations, floor covering, even maybe vehicles to an extent. But you'd always see these trends, and the trend would start in California in the home decor sector and carpet. The carpet salesmen from Mohawk or Shaw or Boyu or whoever the company was, they'd come in and say, hey, look, probably not really ready here, but you need to be aware that this particular type carpet, I've been out of the game so long. Let's just call it I don't know, Berber carpet. This Berber carpet sweeping the nation. It started out in California. It's coming here soon. You need to start getting aware of it and think about the selling points, because it's coming. That trend's going to migrate and come here, and it would take a period of time. It'd take months, usually, maybe a year to get here. Well, now when a trend starts in California, it's in Georgia within 24 hours, and that's because of Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest. Social media in general. It's just changed the way things happen in the country.
Okay. All right. I mean, that's getting into the floor covering business. I was a plumber for a number of years.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to one thing that popped out. I did a house one time, and people had AstroTurf in the bathroom.
Yeah. Well, you being a plumber, I think you'd back me up on this. When we remodeled our house 5 years ago, and we needed 4 toilets, we went up to Hughes Supply, I think it was, right here on St. Augustine, and we walked in, and they had samples of toilets out there, and I was impressed. I thought a toilet was a toilet, but evidently I was wrong, brother. There are. And I remember the girl saying, hey, this is a brand new model we just got in. They're starting to sell a lot of them out. So she told me somewhere, it may have been California, I don't know, but it was a, comfort based. It was actually designed for you to be able to sit there and relax while you did your business. It was like lean back a little. I mean, it was the Mac Daddy of all toilets, and I'm like, man, I just want a damn toilet. So we left there and went to Home Depot,
Yeah, those are for the people who's going to sit there and do their social networking while they're
or watch TV or whatever the case may be.
Right.
But
yeah,
that's funny.
So getting back to the cat thing, I mean, and trends and the way people act, people, we the American people as individuals are highly intelligent.
So they say.
So
they say.
Yeah, so they say. But when we get into crowds, the masses are a bunch of blooming idiots.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
I mean, like, if I was in school and somebody walked over to me, looked at me, and go, meow, get away from me. I ain't, man. But if you walk around, but I mean, if it becomes to the point where everybody in school is meowing, I mean, me personally, I'm still gonna think it's stupid. Yeah. Y'all go on with that shit. I don't know what's wrong with you. I don't know what they're feeding you, but
I mean, they are, from what I understand, this is a very small, as you can imagine, very small group of kids, and I'd guess probably 4 or 5, but I'm like you, if they tried to, recruit me into their cat pride, and walked up to me and started, trying to pet me and purr and lure me over there, I'd have one thing to say to them. I'd go, and I would scare the dookie out of them and let them know right quick that I ain't no cat.
I don't know now. What if? I mean, now keep in mind, I'm pretending we're all single here, and yada yada yada. Ain't nobody married. But back in the day, if little Miss Hottie was walking over to her, she said, meow, meow. What you gonna do?
I'd probably lick my balls and go. I'd probably lick my balls and go anywhere she wanted me to go. To be perfectly blunt, but that's just me. I don't know. I'm being honest. You said to be honest, so I'm being honest.
That's right. I got
you. Mm-hmm.
All right, brother. That was just my little point I was pondering this morning. We're gonna bow on that. Let somebody else have it.
All right, brother. Have a good day. I'm gonna take a quick break and get back on it.
Yes, sir. We gonna see you back.
All right. See you. All right. Just pretend I didn't say that last part. We'll be right back. I do got to address something when I do get back, but I'm gonna take a quick break, refill my coffee cup, and be right back. Y'all stay tuned.
well, 1 hour is gone. If you made it this far, you are an official freedom fighter. Don't forget to visit freedomnetworks.com. Click on featured advertisers and support these businesses. They can advertise anywhere. They choose this show as a way to support the effort of preserving and defending freedom. Now, back to the show with Steve.
229-469-1417. That is the Valdosta transmission hotline number. Should you have anything on your mind, you want to talk about it, be glad to hear from you. Got to address something yesterday. It was called to my attention yesterday. Somebody was saying something about me farting on air. And they said they knew what they heard or whatever. I did not fart on air. I would admit it. Okay. I would do that. I would admit it. I think y'all know that I would, but I do not recall, farting on air. So, that is, fake news. Good morning, caller. You're on the Valdosta transmission hotline. What's on your mind?
Good morning, Steve.
John.
In response to Kevin's question.
Yes, sir.
Dry fire systems are great if you use them.
Okay. So there's no negative effects of it or anything like that?
Well, I've got one, and it works excellent. It works just as intended, but I don't like it because I don't have a double action 9mm, and that's what my system's got, a little 9mm laser cartridge that works on the when the firing pin hits the back of the cartridge, it ignites the laser and it prints on the target, and then it sends via Bluetooth to either my phone or my iPad. Shows me the target.
That's pretty cool.
The problem with a striker fire gun is you don't get the option to do a double tap because you constantly have to reset the trigger manually.
I got you. So that's the downside.
But if you had like a Beretta 92, that is a double action gun, then you get it'd be just a lot more user friendly. If he's serious about this, there is a product called SIRT, SIRT, and that's a purpose-made dry fire handgun. It comes in several different styles to mimic a SIG or a Glock.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
They even have a rifle version.
Right.
But they're not cheap. But they are probably, the SIRT pistol is probably the best dry fire option out there if you're willing to spend the money.
I got you. What kind of money are you talking about? Just a range?
Actually, I'm on their website right now. The pistols run anywhere from like $240 to $430, $480. Now, what I said initially, they're great if you use them.
Yeah, all right.
Now, if you spend $450 on a dry fire system and it stays in the drawer,
I question that person's sanity.
But this system is going to be a lot more user friendly than a system like a cartridge that you or a laser cartridge that you put in the chamber. But you have to manually reset the trigger. You understand what I'm talking about? Manually resetting the trigger.
Absolutely, yeah. That's a pain in the butt.
Well, it is. Now, there are other systems out there that you can, say you have a Glock, you can buy a trigger, a reset trigger, and this is going to cost $50 to $60 to $70 that you can actually install in the gun to use on a dry fire system, and it will reset the trigger for you. But it's a little bit of a pain in the butt. You got to take the gun apart, take the trigger assembly out, put the dry fire assembly in, but Kevin, check out SIRT, and see if that's something that might fit your budget, and see if and if it's not Hey, buddy, you're always welcome to come see me and, shoot some of the real stuff.
10-4. Yeah, that's me. I think Kevin would prefer to do that. I think he's just, in this day and time, between his, my motorcycle riding and his job and all, he's like, he's wanting to stay up. I would think these things, I would think these things are very popular in cities, like, in big cities, that it's just not easy to jump in your car and run out to the range. That would be something they probably could benefit from. Sit there. I guess you can sit there right in your own living room and do it, can't you? You can't, or
you absolutely can.
Yeah,
yes, sir, you can.
So I think there's a place for it.
When I bought the one, I thought I would use it a lot, but I probably hadn't used it in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
I got about 6 months out of it, and it just got to be kind of a pain. You don't get any recoil. You don't.
Yeah.
I don't have because I don't own a double action handgun. All of mine are striker fire, so I don't get the ability to do double caps on a target,
mm-hmm.
and that takes away from your level of training.
It does. It does. I want to ask you a question. This is something that's just bothered me, and I don't know if I've ever asked a qualified person like a firearms instructor or anything, but I know that they teach. When you go to the gun range and I see instructors working with people, and I see people that have obviously went through some training, and when they're and I'm gonna try to. I might not can really describe it to where you can catch it visually. I may have to show you, when you can see me, but they basically teach if you're shooting a pistol, and you put your hand. They teach you to hold it properly with two hands and aim it and that sort of thing. But the position of your body is what I'm talking about. They seem to want you to square up on the target. In other words, you're facing the target. You're squared up on it, if that makes any sense. Why in the world did they teach that? And here's the reason that I asked this. When I went through a FLETC training program, it was a civilian based program. I'm still certified in it. It was something they started over there around 2000. I can't remember what year it was. 2000. I was 2003, 2, 3, 4, somewhere along there. I was interested in it. I was single at the time, and I'd go out there, and it was a course you paid for. It was civilian, but it was you were certified, and you were there could be a situation where they used us, and it was called a HEAT team, hostile extraction assault team, and it was basically, I'll give you a for instance, or a scenario. If there was this hostage situation and they deemed it to where they were going to, send somebody in there, maybe there's one gunman in there, and they're going to, they've been in there for 12 hours, they're all hungry. So they negotiate over the phone. The guy wants a pizza. So they send the pizza guy in there. Well, this is the opportunity to send Steve in there. He's trained in this situation, and he's going to deliver the pizza and try to disable the threat, or get it gone. They taught us, that instructor did. His name was Mike. He taught us to never square up on the target. He taught us to stand basically sideways and to shoot like that. In other words, like I'm right-handed, so my left shoulder would be pointed towards the perpetrator. My right shoulder would be kind of back, and the theory behind that is you were decreasing the perpetrator's kill zone. In other words, you were, instead of squared up and being wide, you were sideways.
A narrow target is harder to hit than a wide target.
Exactly. So why, or am I wrong? But it seems like
I'll
these
tell
are.
You,
go ahead.
You got two different scenarios there, Steve. You got one scenario where someone is out there that is learning how to shoot a pistol,
right?
And then in order to learn kind of from scratch, you need a firm foundation,
okay,
of your body in order to to maintain stability, and then you've got to translate that into stability with the firearm.
I got
and
you.
That's just learning from scratch. What your instructor was teaching you was gunfighting.
I got
you.
That's
a different realm of shooting altogether. I
got you. Which that makes sense, because on the range, that last time I went to the range, a couple of us went out there and shooting pistols. I haven't been on a range like that in that many years, but I did it so often back then. I mean, I was an enthusiast, and I was serious about it and loved it. I was in great shape. We did PT. I mean, we were highly trained, and at any rate, that muscle memory and all that was still in me. And when I was shooting my pistol, I was extremely accurate. But I remember the guy asking me, "Man, you need to square up on that target." And I didn't say anything, because he don't know me, and I wasn't offended. He goes, "You need to square up on that target." And one of the guys, was with me, was complimenting my accuracy, and I'm sitting there thinking in my mind, from the, he was 20 or 30 yards from us. And I don't think he really saw the accuracy of the shooting, but he was just telling me to square up on that target. And I think he's just so used to treating or to training new gun owners and beginners and novices that he didn't really realize what was going on there. And it's just always bugged me. And I wonder, well, why do they do that? But now I understand why. I was trained in a different way. I was trained in a gunfight, and I get it now. That makes more sense. So cool.
Yeah, well,
they never called me. I was hoping somebody would be needing a pizza somewhere and I could go in there and shoot them, but it just never happened.
Yeah, well, that's the difference between me and you.
I
never want to experience my worst day.
No, I'm just teasing.
I do carry, but dadgummit, I never want to warm that sucker up in public.
You're right. Yeah, I don't want to shoot nobody. I was just teasing. But I was ready though. Now, don't get me wrong. I was ready.
Okay. Yesterday, I didn't call in yesterday because the conversation was so good. I just enjoyed listening.
I don't even remember. Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I saw something yesterday, kind of got me thinking, and this is firearms related too.
Sure.
The National Instant Check system came to being in 1998. How many? Just take a guess. How many national instant checks have been performed since November of 1998 through August of 2022?
Wow. I'm going to take a guess. Let's see. How many years is that? That's 22, 24 years? 24 years. I'm going to say, let me, I'm going to give you a guess now. You put me on the spot. This is going to complete guess. Let me get my calculator out. I'm going to say 3 times 24. I'm going to say 72 million.
Try again.
Higher or lower? Got to be higher. Got to be higher. 90 million.
You ain't got time to get to my number.
200 million.
432,366,543.
That's a lot. That's good. That's a lot. That's good. I mean, that means people are buying firearms. Yeah. That's a good number there.
Yeah. So far, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So far this year, in 8 months, there have been almost 21 million.
The firearm industry ought to be rocking right now.
Okay. In 2020, there was almost 40 million. In 2021, the number was down to like 39 million. Previous years, 28 million, 26 million, 25 million. But what I'm getting at is these numbers to me represent a heck of a voting block.
Mm-hmm.
And why are the Democrats throwing that voting block completely away unless they have no fear of the election?
It's an interesting question. One of the things that come to mind if they decided to embrace that voting block, look at what that would mean. All this crap they've told us for all these years about expanding background checks and banning the AR-15, limiting purchases to certain people, regulating gun show transactions, all the things they've campaigned against. I'm assuming they'd have to somehow get up there and say, you know what, after further consideration, we believe that we're wrong and we want your vote and we're going to protect your Second Amendment rights. So they're not going to do that. I don't think. I don't see how they can do that.
Yeah. Well, it just, you've been talking quite a bit about the election. I saw these numbers and I thought, in the past several months, the anti-gun rhetoric has been at a fever pitch with the president and, a lot.
They're doubling down. They're doubling down. They're doubling down on it. Let me say this is excuse me. This is an interesting question. I don't know how you'd get the answer, but out of all those background checks, how many were frequent flyers? In other words, how many were buying? I know people right now that buy a gun a month. They've been on the gun a month program for a long time. So my question is, how many gun owners in the U.S. own more than one gun, or what is the average number of guns a gun owner owns?
I don't have that right now, but because of the NICS check, there's no, as we talked the other day, there's no database that you can go to. So it would the National Shooting Sports Foundation is that they make adjustments to all these checks. The adjustment is always down as to what check actually means a firearms purchase.
Okay.
And the August figure this year was like 2.5 million, and they figure the gun sales translated into about 1.5 million. And I don't know how they arrive at that number, but it's still, hey, somebody's interested enough to go look at a gun and start filling out the paperwork.
That's right. That's a good thing. That they may calculate that using that algebra I spoke of earlier.
Well, that's good.
Because I can't figure. I don't know where. I have never used algebra that I'm aware of. I've used geometry a lot in regular math, but I just don't recall having to use algebra. I think it was a total waste of time.
Yeah. Well, I don't think I've ever used it either. So another, just before I hang up on you, another one of the sad facts of this number is there's actually, in my mind, there's no political party embracing this voting block.
I agree with you 100%. They're not embracing it. You're right. Even the Republicans, they're not. I mean,
no, they give lip service to it.
That's right. That's exactly right. And he is, John, I'm glad you said that, man. That's where we're at. And I think this is ludicrous. What I'm about to say, and you've heard me say it, everybody, it pisses me off to say it just as bad as probably pisses you off to hear it. We have the Second Amendment right. But we're to the point now that I'm trying to find a politician that will pass legislation to prop up my Second Amendment right. That's ludicrous. I get it. But that's why constitutional carry in the state of Georgia by Brian Kemp meant so much to me. He actually, for the first time in my life in the state of Georgia, he actually was proactive in passing legislation that propped up and secured my right to keep and bear arms. And I appreciate him for that. Even though it's stupid. It is absolutely stupid. I get it. He shouldn't have to do that. But that's where we're at until we start. It's just like, these Democrats now, they're trying to fight through Congress while they've got the numbers and codify this and codify that and get it into law to prop up their side of the argument. It's time for Republicans to step up nationwide and stand up for gun owners. Quit giving us this damn lip service and let's take action. Start passing legislation to secure our rights. As ludicrous as that is, I believe that's where we're at.
Yeah. How refreshing would it be to have a person running for public office say, my number one job is going to be to protect your constitutional rights
Amen.
as an American citizen.
Amen. It'd be awesome. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, hey, that would be a great line for old Herschel.
It would be. He needs something there, but now in the polls, he's closing the gap there. So I don't know how that race is going to turn out. We may be able to. I'm not saying Herschel's going to be this great, solution or anything, but I do want Raphael Warnock out of there. And Herschel may have a chance.
So do I. Okay.
Yep.
Kevin, give me a call if you got any questions. I'm not an expert on this by any means, but I try to help you if I can, buddy.
10-4, John. Thank you for the call.
Bye, Steve.
All right. See you, man. 229-469-1417. He claims not to be an expert, but he is our expert. He is the Freedom Firearm expert, the guru, the man. John Schaffer, appreciate it. I don't even know what that means. Sherry Powell says, me neither, probably. If it's something about algebra, I don't. If he could only put 3 sentences together, I don't know. Are you talking about Joe Biden? Let me talk as far as putting 3 sentences together. Have y'all been watching? I haven't really. I purposefully don't watch other shows or listen to other shows with any great regularity at all. I purposefully do that so that my commentary is mine. It's not influenced by any other thing. I make my statements. They stand on their own merit. And that's just the way I do it, right or wrong. It's just my style, I guess you'd say. But last night I was watching something. I'm still trying to learn how to navigate this Hulu thing. Right. So anyway, I stumbled across one of the shows, and I think it was on Fox, but I don't remember who it was. Anyway, they're talking and they start showing some clips and doing some commentary on the race up in Pennsylvania. And I'm gonna be honest with you. The people in Pennsylvania, they just really have a really crappy choice on their hands as far as the Senate goes. They're choosing between Dr. Oz and this John Fetterman dude. But anyway, they started showing clips of this John Fetterman, and I understand he's had a stroke, and it I'm glad he overed it and all that, but he is no doubt still having trouble recovering from that, because they showed some of his speeches, and his words would drop off. He'd get confused, and he was struggling, because that's, a stroke affects you that way. It affects your mind's ability to put the words in your mouth and them to come out. A lot of times you rehab and you get better from that. Doesn't mean his mind's not sharp. It's just he can't get it out of his mind and out. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about what the man stands for. He's Bernie Sanders on steroids. I didn't really know what all the things that he stood for, he believed in. I didn't take the word of the broadcast. I got interested and started digging and looking, and I'm telling you, man, this, in my opinion, he's worse than anybody I know in the Senate or Congress. And I'm including AOC, Bernie, Elizabeth Warren, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, Ayanna Pressley, this guy right here, man. Now he'll be ineffective if he gets elected. I mean, he's so far left that he's not going to get anything done. But just the fact that he might get elected, the fact that the majority of the people, or not the majority, but the fact that more people in Pennsylvania would vote for him over Dr. Oz, who is, let's just be honest, in my opinion, not the greatest candidate in the world, but better than Fetterman. But if they look at those two choices and they actually elect John Fetterman in Pennsylvania, that's alarming. I don't know any other way to state it. I mean, that dude is left. Don't really describe him. He's just a straight up socialist or communist, maybe. He's to the left of Bernie freaking Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, for God's sake. I don't know. What else is there? ADL launches review of far left teaching materials after Fox News digital investigation. Let's check. We'll check this article out. I have not read it, so this is something that I'm just now diving into. The Anti-Defamation League, ADL, announced in a statement that the organization is reviewing its education content after a Fox News digital investigation into the curriculum it offers to teachers and students. A Fox News digital investigation found that the ADL, which was originally founded more than 100 years ago to combat the anti-Semitic defamation of American Jews, included concepts from critical race theory as well as far left ideas within its education wing. In a statement to Fox News Digital, an ADL spokesperson stated that they don't teach critical race theory, but admitted how some of their curriculum materials are misaligned with their values. ADL is guided by a mission statement that was written when the organization was founded in 1913. Our purpose is to stop the defamation of the Jewish people and to secure justice and fair treatment to all. This mission compels us to fight anti-Semitism and all forms of bigotry and prejudice, from virulent anti-Zionism to vicious xenophobia. In service to our mission, we have developed anti-bias and anti-hate education programs over the past 4 years. These programs are designed to educate students and help them confront hate. We are proud we have helped millions of children across America learn to challenge bias, discrimination, and hate against all people. We do not teach critical race theory, period. That said, we are far from perfect, and clearly there is content among our curricular materials that is misaligned with the ADL's values and strategy. We intend to address this issue immediately and openly. We are moving to launch a thorough review of our education content. We will review the findings and implement a process to update them appropriately and expeditiously. We will get this right. So there you go with that. 229-469-1417. Just like Greg Lay said, that is the Valdosta transmission hotline if you want to call. Elon Musk, $258 billion Dogecoin lawsuit adds plaintiffs. What's going on? How do you know? I don't get that out of the way. Come on. I don't want an answer. I want this gone. Lord have mercy. I ain't never seen that before. This banner ad pops up. Can't get rid of it. The $258 billion racketeering lawsuit against Elon Musk has expanded, adding new plaintiffs. We'll read that in a second. Let's take a call. Good morning, caller. You're on the Valdosta transmission hotline. What's on your mind today?
Hey, Steve. It's Casey. How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm doing good. Casey, what's on your mind today?
I'm just living the dream, my friends. Living the dream.
That's good. That's good.
I was going to elaborate a little bit more on the your shooting stance question.
Yeah.
There are three basic stances that we teach.
Mm-hmm.
The isosceles, which would be that rounded off or squared off to the shoulder width part.
Yeah.
A little wider and create an isosceles triangle to the target. And then a Weaver stance and a modified Weaver, which you drop your strong wing back a little bit, and it's really more of a preference. But more of your combat shooters are leaning toward the isosceles or the squared off with the bent knees. It gives you a little bit. Some will argue that it gives you a stronger foundation, but it's really more of a preference. I use the modified Weaver, but that just kind of puts it in perspective. It's what you were asking about.
I got you, and I'm assuming. I'm assuming, and I'm just going to say this about you, so the audience will know. You are a qualified expert. There's no doubt about it. You've spent your life in this game, so I'll definitely defer to any comment you got. But I am assuming that if you find yourself in the heat of the moment, I know that you rely on your training and your muscle memory and things like that. But I would assume, Casey, that the last thing in your mind consciously is what stance you're taking when somebody is raining hell down upon you. Is that pretty accurate?
Yeah, you might you bound to find yourself prone out flat on the ground when I step to the ground. Yeah, you're exactly right.
That's right.
It's not a thought process.
Yeah.
But what what I've been told through studies is that regardless of what you choose, human nature tends to bring you back more towards what's called the isosceles stance. And it's funny, I'm going to chase a rabbit because he said something about John Wick the other day. Have you ever watched Keanu Reeves shoot?
In the movies I have, yeah.
No, he's the real deal. If you
go
on YouTube and Google or go on YouTube and look up Keanu Reeves 3-gun shooting. That's not just if he's out there. He's the real deal. It's really interesting to watch, as well as I can't think of her name. The female that played in that other one with him, she does it as well. Where it's a 3-gun transition from handgun to a long gun to a shotgun, and he's very impressive. But anyway, sorry, I chased a rabbit.
No, that's fine.
So those are the basic three stances that we use. There's no real, in my mind. I mean, different folks will tell you different things. It's like anything else. Everybody's got their opinions are like buttholes. Everyone's got one and they all stink. But
that's right.
Everybody's gonna have their opinion as to which is the best, but they're all quote unquote. I forget what the caller used. I think I've actually been to his range one time, but it's a preference, but it's all based on combat shooting. Or I think he said gunfighting. Where it's a matter of where you're plugging your holes, regardless of how you're standing.
That's right. And I, as you were talking, I pulled up I did a Google search on the stance. I Googled the Weaver stance or the modified Weaver stance. Anyway, it shows a picture of the Weaver stance, the modified Weaver stance, and the isosceles shooting stance. And that isosceles shooting stance, that's the one I see the guys when they're with an instructor out on the range. That's the one they're utilizing. And then when I see people that I know or in law enforcement at the shooting range, they tend to do something like something either like the Weaver stance or the modified Weaver, as you indicated you do. But like you said, I guess it's just personal preference, what you're comfortable with, what you're best at. I would imagine confidence enters that scenario a lot, and you're going to do what you're just more comfortable doing. And you just hope you don't find yourself in a situation to where you're using that in a hostile situation. You don't pray for that every day as a law enforcement officer.
I appreciate you, Steve, and you're breaking up on my end a little bit, so I'm going to let somebody else get on there. But I just wanted to drop that down.
All right. See you, buddy.
All right,
bye-bye. 229-469-1417. If anybody's got any comments, questions, whatever you want to talk about. Back to the Dogecoin thing. The lawsuit has expanded, adding 7 new investor plaintiffs and 6 new defendants. Musk is accused of running a pyramid scheme to support the cryptocurrency Dogecoin. Named in the amendment complaint filed on Tuesday night in Manhattan Federal Court, Musk and his electric car company Tesla, his space tourism company SpaceX, his tunnel construction business Boring Company, and others. The suit claims they initially drove up the value of Dogecoin. Over a 2-year period, Dogecoin gained more than 36,000% and then crashed. By doing so, the defendants profited tens of billions of dollars at other Dogecoin investors' expense, while knowing all along that the currency lacked intrinsic value and that its value depended solely on marketing. Tesla, SpaceX, and Boring did not immediately respond on Wednesday to requests for comment. Tesla disbanded its media relations department in 2020. The original lawsuit was filed in June. Shortly after, Musk tweeted that he would keep supporting Dogecoin, and in an interview said people that work around the factory at SpaceX or Tesla asked him for that support, the amended complaint said. Now joining as a new defendant includes the Dogecoin Foundation, which calls itself a nonprofit providing governance and support for Dogecoin. Dogecoin is trading at about 6 cents a coin or share, whatever you call it right now. This is interesting to me. he's facing some monumental lawsuits. 258 billion plus 65 billion. That's what 300, right around 312 billion or so. I don't remember what his net worth is, but it's at stake right now, depending on the outcomes of these lawsuits. I mean, he's got his he's out over his skis a little bit, and be interested to see how that turns out. I don't know if he done anything wrong or not. I'd have to really get into it. I'm not. T-Rex says I'm holding over 100 of them, or what? 100 of them will be worth about $6. So he says I'm going to sue the bastard. Get in on the class action suit, brother. Schools closed, switched to remote learning due to heat as the DOE blames climate change. Major cities across the country decided to close schools, send students home early, or revert to pandemic era remote learning in the early days of the new school. Let me tell you how ridiculous this is. I'm being serious right now. I don't know how hot it is where they're at. I do know this though. They say in cities such as Philadelphia, Baltimore, and Cleveland. Let me just read a little more, then I'll tell you something. Major cities across the country decided to close schools, send students home early, or revert to pandemic era remote learning in the days due to the climate change. The decisions in cities such as Philadelphia, Baltimore, Cleveland come as heat waves affect regions throughout the country, and it's too hot in some school buildings. No one is immune from the impacts of climate change. In Philadelphia, more than 100 schools had early dismissals due to the heat. In Baltimore, 14 schools had early dismissals, while two closed entirely. San Diego also had early dismissals. In Cleveland, some schools kept classes in session but switched to remote learning. The move, which was made possible by our practice of providing a device to every student in the district, allowed these schools to remain in session and avoid taking a calamity day. The statement added that school district CEO Eric Gordon called to look into the possibility of using federal funds from the American Rescue Plan to get portable air conditioning units for the schools that had gone remote. As it turns out, the U.S. Department of Education has already addressed the impacts of climate change, which when it comes to schools, allocating loads of cash for initiatives meant to help the outdoor environment, as well as the environment inside school buildings. That money, however, is not available yet. Now, I'm just going to go on and say this. This is my point to that. I don't know how hot it is in the classroom in Philadelphia, but I don't know that it would be any hotter there than it is where I was yesterday. Okay. When you are out there at 2:00, digging holes, toting 80-pound sacks of concrete, toting 4x4s, 2x4s, pickets, 8 at the time, laying the job out, pulling strings, it cannot be hotter at that school than it is out there. Furthermore, it can't be hotter, or is it? I don't know. I'm sure you could study this. You know, this is 2022. It's November the 8th, 2022. Let's just look right here. I'm on Google. Y'all just humor me. What was the high temperature? What was the high temp in Philadelphia? 9/8/22. See if anything comes up. The actual historic average high temperature. I don't know if that's right. What was the high temperature in Philadelphia? What is the coldest? What was the temperature? What is? I don't even know if I can find it readily. Weather Archive, Philly. Let me see if this will do it. If this don't do it, I'm gonna just bail out on it. Yeah, it looks like maybe I can get something here. I don't know. Let's just go on down. Well, no, it don't go back. It don't go back far enough. So I apologize. It's not going to work. I'm gonna try one more here. Observe weather for that's past 3 days. I don't think I'm gonna be able to find it. Maybe y'all can find it. Historical weather for Philadelphia. Let's see if it's not on there. I'm seriously bailing out this time. This is a complicated graph here now. I'll be honest with you. My head, this is making my head hurt. 1898. Talking about snowfall. I don't know. I'm bailing on it. My point is, how much hotter is it now than it was 50 years ago? Seriously. I mean, you want to say climate change is is so bad right now compared to what it was in 1970 or 1980 or 1990. What is the difference? Is it 1 degree, 2 degrees? I mean, if it's 1 or 2 degrees, that's insignificant. And as far as going to school, right? Is it? Or is it? I don't know. I don't get that. I really don't. I don't know. I know one thing. When I look at the cities they're talking about, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Cleveland, San Diego, all Democrat controlled and run as far as government by Democrats. Not one of those cities listed has Republican leadership. Mark Cuban declares Elizabeth Warren everything wrong with politics and unleashes on progressives. Mark Cuban says, screw you, Elizabeth Warren, declares her everything wrong with politics. Mark Cuban slammed Elizabeth Warren for being everything wrong with politics at the 2022 Annual Code Conference from Vox Media in Los Angeles. CNBC's Squawk on the Street aired a clip from the conference Wednesday of billionaire and Shark Tank star Mark Cuban skewering one of the Democrat Party's most prominent leaders. I don't mind being taxed more. I wrote a blog 20 years ago saying it's the most patriotic thing you can do after military service is pay your taxes because that's what allows everybody to live and to prosper, Cuban explained to interviewer and tech journalist Kara Swisher. He followed up by slamming progressives with a special emphasis on Warren, who demonize or antagonize the wealthy. But yeah, the idea of just soak the rich billionaires' tears that fill that cup. Screw you, Elizabeth Warren. You're everything wrong with politics, he says. Cuban made similar statements before during a Fox Business interview last year. I don't have a problem paying more taxes, whether it's business or personal, he claimed. He clarified that while he is not happy with how tax money is spent, that is another issue entirely. Am I happy with the way the government spends it all the time? No, but that's a different topic. In terms of taxing unrealized gains, I think that would be a disaster. In the same interview, he slammed Warren as somebody who demonizes the wealthy. Honestly, I don't think Elizabeth Warren knows that's all what she's talking about when she deals with this. I think she just likes to demonize people that are wealthy. And that's fine. It's a great political move for her, but I just don't think that they really understand the implications of taxing unrealized gains. Now, I don't know nothing about unrealized gains or taxing. I don't know. I'm not getting into that, but I can tell you this right here. Cuban has a point. He makes a point. I don't know if he's realizing he's making this point, but her game is division. Her game is divisiveness. What she wants you to do is hate people with money. And it works a lot. It works a lot. I know people on the Democrat side that, man, they hate billionaires. Richard hates billionaires. They hate them. I'm not a billionaire. I'm broke. If anybody ought to hate a billionaire or be jealous of a billionaire, it would be me. But you know what? It's exactly the opposite. I know who makes the jobs. I know who makes the world spin. If we got rid of all 612 billionaires in the United States, if we just took all their money from them, all their net worth, just confiscated it, forget tax. Let's just take it. Let's lock them up, put them in jail, charge them with human atrocities, whatever you want to do. Get rid of them. Take everything they got, liquidate their assets, convert all that money that they have, all those assets that they have, their whole net worth, everything they own that's worth money, sell it and make a big pile of cash. You know what that cash would do? It would fund the government for about 3 months. That's what it would do. That's it. If you took it all. But see, only a sane, rational person who cares to do the math on things like that gets it. The rest of the country thinks, well, the Democrats want to tax the billionaires 15%. 15%. 15%. I don't know. David Flowers is sending me a message. It hasn't come over yet. This is that's Mark George. David. He's been on my show before. No, he don't like me. That was a year ago. Mark's taking a hiatus, and anyway, yeah, he attacked in that video. He attacked me and some other radio personalities, but we kind of come full circle with that. We actually went and ate lunch one day. We got some differences, but we found that we probably don't have as many differences as we thought. And I ain't got a problem with Mark. He can have his opinion, and I think our relationship's at a different place than it was back then. Good morning, caller. You're on the Valdosta Transmission Hotline. What's up?
Hey, Steve. Just want to tell you, it's so pathetic how people don't think about all this. Democrats, if they were serious about getting the money from the wealthy, attack on millionaires and all billionaires, they set out this all this tax incentives, tax breaks, and income tax.
Right.
That only a rich person can afford to have.
That's true.
You know about that?
It's stupid. It really is.
Yeah.
But the problem is most people don't stop to think about it. They get their news from just sound bites and clips and ads that run on TV. I see this one that Abrams, maybe not Abrams, but a PAC obviously that's against Brian Kemp. They continuously run this ad about abortion that says he wants rape and incest victims to have their babies. That is such a lie, because the actual bill provides for abortion in the case of rape or incest, but yet they can get away with this lie. If I get on here and I lie, I can get sued. So why isn't somebody suing them for lying like that?
Beats me.
It's just a game, man. It's a game. We all the victims of it.
The truth that she started running for office years ago. Everything she says is a false truth, a mistruth, a half truth, or just a flat out lie.
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah, I agree with you, brother.
Okay.
All right, man. See you later. All right, bye-bye. 229-469-1417. Yeah, it was hard to hear that caller. He was obviously on the job and or doing something there, and it was a little bit hard to hear him, so I apologize for that. Brandon Blanton, you're talking about Mark David Matthew Henry George. I think he popped smoke and dipped out for good. And he's I don't want to I'm not getting into his personal details, but he is he's on a hiatus. We'll leave it at that. But he did identify himself here too. Yeah, he was bold. He's my kind of guy. And we don't see eye to eye, but he's my kind of guy. He gets on his podcast, and buddy, he says what he feels. He puts his name behind it. I mean, I know him. He's donated. Let's see. I think he's probably $100 to the effort here. I mean, I don't mind telling you, and I don't think he'd mind. I mean, he believes in freedom of speech. He believes that we should get on here and be able to say what we want to say and have the discussions, get mad at each other, and whatever the case may be. He believes in that. He believes like I do. Now, we don't see eye to eye on the politics of things, but he supports what I'm doing. He don't agree with everything, and that's fine, but he thinks I ought to be able to get on here and say it. So Charles Clark says my power just went out. Are you in Valdosta, Charles? I know you live here, but I know you travel sometimes. Are you back? Are you back in town? I know you went to Athens over the weekend. Record high temp for Philadelphia September 7th was 102 in 1982. Danny Beasley says, "Thank you, Danny." So did they skip school then? I probably didn't, right? I mean, are you seeing what's going on here? I'm trying to understand this whole thing. But could it be that this climate change things for some politicians is simply a political tool, a tool to divide, a tool to herd us into our proper chutes? That's what I think it is. Charles Clark, Georgia Power, somewhere in Lowndes County. I hear you, Charlie. 229-469-1417. All right. So Mark Cuban don't like Elizabeth Warren. We've determined that. AOC slammed on Twitter after magazine features her for its cover story. Purebred pony car, new Ford Mustang won't be a hybrid, report says. Only question would be, is it going to be total electric or is it going to be total gas? So you can click on that article and see if you are interested. California man, a former custodian, becomes a principal. You can change course and achieve something. That is the American dream right there. Okay. This man had a custodial job at a school. He was somehow inspired to become an educator and ended up being a principal there. I mean, that's the American dream, right? That's good. You figure out a way to handle it. You know, you know what? I don't care about that man's past. I don't care if he's on Section 8 housing, food stamps. I'm glad to support him with my money. I'm glad I paid his way to live until he got that education. That's what it's supposed to be. That's the people I don't mind. Now, I don't like the fact that the government takes it against my will and they do it. But in the success stories, that's what it's all about. And I believe that if you would put some contingencies on that aid, I'd feel better about it. Okay, look, y'all can argue and we can come up with the time frame. I don't care. I mean, it could be 6 months, 3 years. We could figure that out, right? If we knew that you had, look, we're going to give you, what is an ample amount of time for you to get yourself straight? If they say 1 year, I'm going to say, okay, I'll tell you what, we're going to make sure. We're going to double it. I'm going to give you 2 years. You can be on the government tip for 2 years. But at 2 years, you off. So you got 2 years to find a plan. Maybe you tier it somehow. Maybe you say, look, okay, we're going to give you 2 years. But if you show us you've enrolled in a 4-year degree program, then when you get to that 2 years, you're still in the program, you're doing good. We're going to extend it another 2 years. I'm all for it, man. But this generational lifetime welfare society we've created, that shit don't work. It don't work for me. There's no power on Lee Street, Mr. B's, and that whole area, Kevin says. Heating oil states will be paying $5 a gallon more or more this winter. Experts say, we talked about the other day, the Bed Bath & Beyond CFO, he jumped out of a window to his death due to some problems with that company there. That's tragic, terrible choice there. What else is on here? All right, let's jump over here. Let's do the weather real quick. Everybody's wanting to know what that is. Partly to mostly cloudy with a chance of thunderstorms. High of 86 degrees today. Winds light and variable. Chance of rain is 60%. Tonight, variable clouds with showers and scattered thunderstorms. Storms more numerous this evening. Low is 72 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds light and variable. Chance of rain 50%. Looking towards the weekend. Into Friday, you got a 63% chance of rain. Saturday, 70%. Then Sunday, 94%. So it looks like the bulk of the rain will be coming Sunday. But in the Panhandle, South Georgia, North Florida area, 2 to 7 inches is predicted. So y'all take that under consideration. That is your Recycle Center of Quitman weather report. They open at 9 a.m. this morning. You can call them at 229-563-5300 or visit them at 900 Boundary Street in Quitman for all your recycling needs. The fish and game forecast, the fish have plenty of water to swim around in. Peak bite 7:20 p.m. It is in the excellent range. So the evening fishing right now is the time to go. Another bump up close to the excellent range is at high noon, 12 o'clock. A peak well into the good range at 6 a.m. It's on the downfall from 6 to 9, on the downfall from noon to 3, and then on the downfall from 7:20 to 10 o'clock at night. Big peak into the excellent range at 12:40 a.m. So nighttime fishing ought to be at a premium right now, according to that graph. Plantation Creek Real Estate is your fishing game forecast sponsor. Reed Hall will take care of your real estate needs, whether you're buying and selling a home or looking for or selling a recreational property or farm. Large land purchases is his, and sales is his specialty. He does a good job at it. Y'all contact Reed Hall at Plantation Creek Real Estate. You can give me a call or shoot me a message. I'll be glad to give you his number. Also, visit his wife's store right up there in Tifton. It's located right by Tractor Supply, and it's called Plantation 59 Apparel, or you can visit them on the web at plantation59.com. Appreciate you guys supporting our sponsors and tuning in each and every day. I'm going to take a quick break. I will be back in just a moment.
Wide awake now? We're honored and humbled to share this time with you each and every day. Please consider liking, sharing, and spreading the word by telling others to tune in. Send them to freedomnetworks.com and they can choose their favorite way to enjoy the show. For now, back to Freedom with Steve Nichols. Go get them, Steve.
Back on Freedom with Steve Nichols, 229-469-1417. Got a question. I want to have a discussion about the show itself and how you listen to it. I'm just going to be all over the place, and I want you guys to ask or answer. You can call and we'll talk about it, or you can put your comments on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, whatever platform you're listening to. You can send me an email with more detailed thoughts or comments. I got some major questions to ask. And Bobby's already anticipated this question. He says, on a 15-inch laptop, how do you guys watch for you guys that watch the show? How are you watching it specifically? Are you watching it on your phone? Are you watching it on a laptop? Or are you watching it on a TV? How are you actually watching the show? What is your preferred way to watch the show? Do you enjoy watching the show, or would you be just as satisfied listening to the show? If I wasn't available, is it the comment section that you like? I'm just trying to figure out some things, do a little thing. It looks like, as I am looking at, Greg Daniel says on a stolen smartphone. So nobody can trace you, right, Greg? I get you. That's probably the smartest answer there. But all right, Sid, watching it. Everybody likes to watch it. So you prefer to watch it rather than just listen. Now forget the comments for a second. Do you really like watching the show and not just listening to it? Or do you watch it because of the comments? I know you like reading the comment section, I guess. Greg says I would be fine listening. If an app, if you're on an iPhone, Kim Cowart, good to see you on there. Hope your old man's doing okay. Tell him I said hey. I guess what I'm trying, don't read anything into this, but I'm trying to gauge a few things here. Hypothetically speaking, if all we did was broadcast on an app where you downloaded on your iPhone and that was the only way you could get the show, you couldn't comment, would you still listen? Now I'm not going to do that. Don't get me wrong. but I'm trying to gauge how valuable the video part is. Because that changes things when you try to upload a video with your speed and your equipment and things like that. Bobby said he wouldn't if he couldn't watch, and I'm assuming that's partly related to the comments too. That's kind of what my gut feelings are. I think the visual and I think the comments are a big deal to everybody. Y'all tell me if I'm wrong on that. Good morning, caller. You're on the Valdosta Transmission Hotline. What's on your mind?
Well, don't take away my video chalkboard. They got to at least have one way where I can show them all my pictures and graphs and goodies.
We're not. We're going to always have a video component. It's just, and you being part of it all, you know what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to gather information to see.
Yeah, no, I do. I just said sometimes my show would be a lot different if I can't show the things I'm trying to use to illustrate what we're talking about.
That's right.
The drive-by tease day. I just figured I'd let you know that, we're going to start off by poking fun at the great Stephen Hawking and showing that he's not as bright all the time as, he's been made out to be.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to undermine some of his great little theories.
Yeah.
And in the process, Steve, we're actually going to provide a formal proof for the existence of God.
Wow.
A formal logical proof.
Wow. That'll be interesting for sure. That's a
and
good
then
tease.
we're going to show one of the greatest scientists in modern times and how he came to believe in God and the existence of the immortal soul. Yeah. And then we're going to channel our inner Art Bell, and we're going to get into how that gets us to conspiracy theories about flying saucers, UFOs, and alien invasions.
That will be interesting. I actually posed the question the other day. I don't know if you were listening. I asked it was towards the end of the show, I think, but and I didn't get a lot of answers, but I posed the question, because NASA or somebody had an image of a planet, the first image of a planet outside of our solar system, and that prompted me to ask the question, do you guys think there could be life on other planets? So you're going to dive into questions like that today?
Oh yeah, I'm going to dive into what we've been told by somebody who used to be on the inside, one of the proverbial they. I mean, the information's been out there for years, but you know how I do. I find it and I bring it to you.
Yeah,
so we're gonna have a little fun today.
I'll be interested in that because I you know me, I don't really try to comment very often on things I don't know anything about, and I don't know anything about whether or not there's life on planets and other solar systems. I just don't know. So I will be interested to listen to this show, and I will be tuning in.
All right, but yeah, man, just figured I'd do a drive-by tease.
I appreciate
how much too much more time. I'll be at the studio soon, and I got to start setting things up.
10-4.
We'll be listening to you. Yep. And me, I like all of the above, brother. There are times where I prefer just to listen to the show because I do listen to your show, or, before I do mine.
Mm-hmm.
Other times where I want to watch it. It just depends.
I think
especially if you've got a guest in house.
Right. I think the thing is options. I think the more options we can have, that don't necessarily mean we got to be on 14, 15 different options, but at best we need a listening option, an easy, quick listening option, and an easy, quick video option, and an easy, quick way to comment and interact with the show option. So if we cover all three of those options, we got to be.
Most of the feedback I've been getting from our listeners that if they're listening, it's Facebook's on their phone or whatever, but they got buffering issues, but all they're really doing is listening to it because it's playing on their phone while they're working.
Right.
So yeah, if your app went to just listening and it was smoother and it didn't have the buffer issues with Facebook, that might actually be the preferred thing for the app because we've all got access to the video options later on if we want to go home and go back and watch it again, or if we're somewhere where we can bring up a screen somewhere.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be an app coming. There is no doubt about that. That's the most flexible, easiest go-to thing. And then because I think about me, like when I leave here and I listen to your show, I like to watch it, but then when I've got to get out of the truck and go work, then I need to either I'm gonna either have to go back tonight and finish watching it. But if I had that app, then I can plug my earpiece into my phone, download that app into my phone, and listen to you while I work. And so we you and I as content providers, we have to create and provide a vehicle for as many scenarios as we can afford to do so. And that's what we're working. That's what we're tackling right now.
Yeah. Because I mean, I'm trying to be conscious of that. I play to the camera when I'm doing my show, but I also, you know, I realize that if you're just listening, I have to describe what I'm doing sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I'll tell you, folks, there's other times that you're going to catch me throwing stupid little memes up on the screen that we're just not going to tell the audience that I've done it.
That's right.
So there'll be times where you might not be in on the joke. So if you see something weird going on in the, you know, somebody's calling or making comments or whatever about that, it might be because I've done something I didn't tell anybody that
That's
I
right.
did.
That's right.
That's just for those who are watching. I got to remember that there's a camera going.
Well, that's something I rarely, what I call, address the camera. I'm looking at it now, but
but you and I have different styles and different things we're doing. You know,
that's
a
right.
lot of what I'm doing is teaching. I want that camera in some cases because it helps me.
Yeah, you want to speak into the camera. That's exactly right. And if you look across the spectrum of different shows, you see both. You see people that, you know, well, you remember Rush Limbaugh when he had the Ditto cam, but he never looked at the Ditto cam. He had that radio vapor, and that's what I got in my mind. I was trained in radio, so in my mind, nobody's watching, you know, so I just do my thing and I let people watch the show. I find it odd. I would find it odd. I don't really know that anybody just watches the show just because they want to see me. I think they watch the show because inside that program of watching the show is the comments, and they're able to comment. Yeah. That's why they do. They're not sitting here watching me. I mean, I know I'm a good looking man, Joe, but I mean, let's be honest. You can only look at me so much, you know? So I don't think that's it.
Yeah. Well, if we ever turn the camera around and get that left profile of you, man, that might chase everybody away.
I'm like,
right
what?
Side, you know.
Yeah, that's right. What about the guy? What's the guy on the Batman? Is it Two-Face? Is that his name? That's who. Yeah, I got two. If you see the left side of my face, you'll never watch again. You'll just be on the app. That's good stuff.
So I will confess before I bow out of here, I do love coming into the Facebook feed sometimes for your show just to watch the rumble in the comments section.
Oh yeah, that's what I like.
You know, that's one of my indulgent confessions there. I like to, you know, I mix it up in there sometimes with some of the local residents.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's fun.
We're going to be working on some things. I appreciate you. Everybody can tune in to your show at 9:05 Eastern and 8:05 Central. Always a good time broadcasting from 9 to 11. And we're going to get him stretched out to 12 here one day. So y'all hang on. He might not agree with that. That's right.
It'll happen. I've got plans for that. I've got a few things we've got to get through first, but it'll happen here in a relatively near term.
10-4, Joe. Have a good day, brother. Road to Concord next. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Take care.
Bye-bye. 229-469-1417. Greg says a live chat on your website would work. Yeah, that's honestly, everybody knows that my whole my drive right now is towards the website. That's what I want. I want to get everybody at the website. And I don't know how it'll all work, but I want to establish those who like to watch the show. You can do it from your phone. To go to the website and watch it on your phone. The reason you don't do it now, I think, is because of the comment section. So Greg's right. What we're doing right now is trying to figure out how to have a comment section on there that kind of functions like it does now, where you see the video and the comments and you can comment and interact. In other words, do the same thing we're doing right now on Facebook, on the website. So, that's what we're working on. And I think that's the way we do it. Errol Fender says, Steve, you like me, you got a face only a mother could love. Errol, I didn't need to hear that, brother. Hey, I hope everything goes your way, brother. I've been reading you on Facebook there, and I know the challenges you face and your mindset about you moving and all that, man. And my thoughts and prayers are with you as you go through that. Gonna be good, dude. You know it is. Gonna be all right. Gonna be all right. Larry mentioned you just had to blow it. T-Rex, I worked between ER and lab as a phlebotomist in 1992 while in college. So he worked with fleas. Is that what a phlebotomist does? A hippopotamus? Not the most popular employee. Ren, not Ren. Okay, I knew all the old timers, Coleman, Lovell, Miller's Purpose, Nigel, those are doctors. Got experience of good stories of them all. I was drawing blood on a critical toddler once, and Ren came in and said that with that deep voice, that's a good job drawing that blood. So a phlebotomist draws blood. It has nothing to do with fleas. Who'd have thunk it? Comment section on the website ain't as good as Facebook. That's why I go from Facebook. Yeah, it isn't right now because we haven't done it. We're just the comment section. I think that's currently on the Facebook feed and that thing is through Twitch or through YouTube, depending on which one it's on. But if everybody was watching that, it'd be the same as this, I think. I don't know. We're working on it. I'm learning. I'm trying to figure it out, but we're making great strides, man. T-Rex was a bloodsucker, B said. Sounds like it. 229-4694-1417 if anybody wants to call in. Let's look at some of the other news agencies. CNN reporting the shooting rampage, leaving 4 dead in Memphis. Somebody asked me earlier what kind of gun he used. I don't know. Do y'all know? Have y'all heard anything about that? Bobby says resident vampire. T-Rex was the resident vampire. That's a good one too. I don't know what kind of gun he used. Have y'all heard? I don't know if they've said anything about it. I bet it was a pistol. I'm guessing pistol. I don't know. It's a total guess. There's a reason I'm guessing it. But I don't know. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Y'all let me know if y'all see it. I just don't feel like trying to dive into it. Kevin says, "Cuz we're old and stuck on Facebook. If forced to website with commenting, most all would move." Yeah, you're right, man. I'm the same way, man. I'm an old dog that don't like the new tricks. I hate getting a new phone, hating having to learn how to use it. I hate moving. I hate change. I just don't like it. But if it's something that's near and dear to my heart, then I force myself to, conform. And I think that's what Kevin's trying to say. I want to make it easy for you. I don't want it to be a chore. I mean, because if it's a chore, see, like right now, I don't have an app, and I've got this one listener. I know it's just one listener, but he's a friend of mine. Actually, I've got two. I know they listen, and I know they love to listen to me. But for whatever reason, man, they're older. Both of them are older than me. They're good friends. But for whatever reason, they just can't get in the groove of listening on any of the platforms I have now. But I know that they would listen on an app. So I got to get that app up and running. That's a priority right now. That's actually probably close to priority one. And right now, man, it's hard sifting through the available ways to do it. Man, some of them are just cost prohibitive. We're trying to figure it out now. Getting closer and trying to make a decision, but since it looks to me like most everybody that commented they listen on their phone. John Shaffer says he listens on Discord on his phone, which allows him to listen while he's picking okra. John is a troubled young man in need of prayer, and y'all pray for John and his okra addiction. But at least he's listening while he's picking okra, right? That's the point. So he downloaded the Discord app. Now, once we build our own app and we can download it on our phone, and you look on your phone, and instead of it saying Discord and you hit the button, it says Freedom or has an F or whatever the style is, you'll click that button and you'll listen. And that's case it's done. Right now, we're trying to figure it out. Mary says, how much does it cost to have an app, one-time fee, monthly? It's all over the board. See, technically, I have the app now, the Discord app. It's just not my app, and it's free, and you get on the Discord app. I don't push that. To me, it seems a little, I don't know. I want my own app. And that's what we're trying to do, Marion. And the thing is, it just there's so many different programs out there. A lot of it is determined by how many people are on the app. In other words, if you got 1,000 on the app, it costs this. But if you got 1 million on the app, it costs way more because of, I guess, the space or whatever you're taking up doing that app. But I can't answer the question, Mary. I want to, but I can't. I don't know how much it is. We're literally in the middle of the research now. We got some preliminary figures in to build the app. I mean, literally, I've seen costs of $8,000, $10,000, but then we see cost of $500 and so much a month. So there is a solution out there that'll fit, but we have to temper it. We have to say, okay, this one here will fit our needs now, but when we double in size, will it grow with us? That's the question right now. And there is an answer out there, and we're going to find them. And then that's right, T-Rex. I want to call it the Freedom app. That's it. Check us out. Download the Freedom app today, free. I want it to be free to the listeners. I know a lot of people out there say that they would subscribe to an app, but I just don't want to do that. I want a free app to everybody. We'll absorb the cost. We'll offset it with advertising. So at any rate, that's all I know on that. I wish I could say more, but we just now really made that a priority and started on that. And then the next phase will be the website. We've made great strides on it. If y'all have not went to freedomnetworks.com, I don't know why you hadn't, honestly. I think it's coming right along. It's not finished, but you can watch it on the Twitch channel on freedomnetworks.com just by clicking it. You see the countdown clock. We're 1 month, 30 days, 22 hours, 35 minutes, and 26 seconds away from the election. I've got a poll on there about who's going to win or who will win the Georgia governor's election. Brian Kemp's in the lead, 91% to 9% on that poll. The U.S. debt clock's on there ticking away. We got the up-to-date current weather report brought to you by RCQ. We got the cryptocurrency counter on there showing you what that's doing. And then we got the Freedom Riders. We got the articles on there. There's articles on there by LG, Sarge, Dr. Spencer Price. We've got David Penny ponders his own section there. He's got one. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 articles up. One called the University of Ramen Noodles. That's really cool. It's talking about student loan forgiveness and stuff like that. David's a very talented writer. Pat Hill's on the with the Georgia Bulldogs season preview. He's going to be writing other game analyses from week to week. It's a really good website, I think, and it's just going to get better and better and better. And I want y'all to check it out. And I don't expect you to go there now while you're watching the show. Don't do that, but or you don't have to do that if you don't want to. But at any rate, 10 grand ? I think we can raise that. I start by donating my 130 Dogecoins. Yep, that's worth about 9 cents, but we're off to a rocket start. We're not doing the 10 grand app. We're not doing that. I think we're going to be able to do it in pretty quick, Gary. Water Jug says, call your app the Freedom Hub and use orange letters, PH on a black background for the app symbol. Then at least I'll have plausible deniability if my wife checks my phone. That's funny right there. Who should get the updated coronavirus vaccine booster now? Who should wait? I don't even hear anything about COVID no more, unless it's something to do with China. China's on lockdown in one of their cities over there. It's running rampant. This is their words, not mine. It's running rampant over there in a city with 10 million people. This is what I don't understand. Okay. There's 10 million or 26 million, I think. I don't know. I need to try to find the article. Y'all don't get hung up on the numbers. I can do this without you getting hung up on the numbers. I think there's 26 million people in that city, huge city. And they got 1,800 cases of COVID. And because they got 1,800 cases, 1,800 positive cases now, no deaths, 1,800 cases, let's shut the whole damn city down. 26 million people, 1,800 cases. They discovered 136 cases yesterday or whatever, last week, whatever. And they freaking out. They shut it down. They have a zero COVID policy. They're going to stop it, shut it down, whatever. in a disease now that's not as it's not as bad on you. Now I don't know if this is a different strain. Again, I don't know the details of it so much, but I find it very odd that in a city of 26 million with only 1,800 cases, they're shutting the whole city down. Won't let you go nowhere. I just I don't get it. What else here? Is there anything else on CNN? Mayor blames judicial system that will not punish in wake of tragic shooting. I agree with the mayor on that one. Questions remain after death of second Canada stabbing suspect who police say may be responsible for 10 fatalities. 15-year-old shot in Brooklyn Park after school has died. Las Vegas public official has been arrested in connection with the killing of a reporter. That's a Democrat public official that possibly is connected to the stabbing death, I think it is, of a reporter. Jim Parker, it is concerning that the people who created the virus are more scared of it than us who don't know what it is. And it's very interesting. Maybe they know something we don't. Maybe we should have a greater fear of it than we do. Or maybe China's overreacting. How do you know? How are you supposed to know? I just think you just, protect yourself best you can. Wash your hands frequently. Use some of that hand sanitizer if you want to. Don't get real close to people. That's all. That's a good practice of keeping well in any situation, whether it's catching a cold, the flu, whatever. Who should get 1/3 of the country is underwater? That's Pakistan. Republicans dodge implications of documents at Mar-a-Lago. What? That's a stupid comment. We don't know. We don't know what was in the documents. CNN, MSNBC is, that's all they're talking about. So it's just they're in. They have to pander to the 3 listeners or 3 viewers they have. I get that, I guess, but Trump's special master order was demonstrably bad. This would make it worse. Trump may have hoarded nuclear secrets. We're in the end game now. Nuclear angle at Mar-a-Lago scandal comes into sharper focus. Trump stole top secret material. The special master won't save him. By GOP's own standards, Trump's Mar-a-Lago scandal has reached code red. We're witnessing the poisoning of Black America. Lindsey Graham takes unsettling path on Trump's classified. Everything's about racism. Everything's about Trump. That one is it says Trump stole top secret material. Well, there you go. Case closed. He solved it. He knows. How do you know that? Nobody has said it. If you look at the documents, they're looking to see if that's the case. They got to prove that case if it's there. They ain't even charged him. If they go through all that, they may not charge him. I say, well, there's nothing here to charge over. But yet MSNBC has convicted him. I don't know. And they're still in business. How is that? Is there somebody that are people that brainwashed? The answer is yes, they are, unfortunately. I think I reported the Dow that was up 435 points. Not that it makes any difference to me. I ain't gained or lost nothing. Second stabbing. This is on the BBC. Second stabbing suspect dies after arrest. Died after a high-speed chase. I guess he went off the road. I don't know how he died. Malaria vaccine is world-changing, say scientists. That is a big deal. If they do have a malaria vaccine, that can be used in a lot of third world countries, and that's going to change things over there. How the man in black was exposed by women he terrorized. That's an article over there. Police and politicians among leaked U.S. militia list. Let's read that. This is in the BBC now. This is news about America. Again, the world wants to know what's happening over here. That's the way it is. Oath Keepers. Leaked membership list includes police and politicians. Hundreds of U.S. public officials, police officers, and soldiers are or have been involved with the far-right Oath Keepers militia, according to a report from an anti-extremism organization. The Anti-Defamation League Center on Extremism compared the names from a leak of Oath Keepers membership rolls with public records and social media. Some alleged members have denied any affiliation with the group. Oath Keepers are accused of playing a key role in last year's Capitol riots. The report raises fresh concerns about the presence of extremist ideology in law enforcement and the military. The Oath Keepers are a virulently anti-government, violent extremist group. Anti-Defamation League Chief Executive Jonathan Greenblatt said in a statement on Wednesday. Last year, a whistleblower group called Distributed Denial of Secrets published more than 38,000 names on the Oath Keepers membership list. Although experts estimate that the group's current active membership is much lower. Analysis of the leaked data by the Anti-Defamation League identified 81 people across the country who currently hold public office or are running in November's midterm elections. Researchers also found that nearly 400 current law enforcement officers and more than 1,000 former officers are connected to the group, along with more than 100 currently serving military personnel. In its report released Wednesday, the ADL included a caveat that some in the database may have initially joined because they were sold a watered-down version of the group, and some may have disavowed the group since signing up. That said, the range of individuals representative in Oath Keepers leak shows the extent to which this extremist ideology has gained acceptance. Several of the people on the ADL list have said they are not current members of the Oath Keepers and were never involved in the group. Sean Mobley, the sheriff of Otero County, Colorado, told the AP that he had distanced himself from the group years ago. Their views are far too extreme for me. Others in the report, however, have more definitive ties to the group, such as Wendy Rogers, a state senator from Arizona who has publicly declared her membership. Ms. Rogers, who has repeated false claims that Donald Trump won the 2020 presidential election, is running for re-election in November. The Oath Keepers were founded in 2009 by Stuart Rhodes, a former U.S. Army paratrooper and Yale Law graduate. The pro-gun group was named after the oath of service that police, military, and other officials take when joining. Those taking the military oath, for instance, pledge to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Over the past decade, members have shown up at a number of protests and armed standoffs across the country. More than a dozen members of the group were charged earlier this year in connection with the January 6, 2021 storming of the U.S. Capitol by supporters of former President Donald Trump. A former Oath Keepers spokesman told a congressional committee investigating the Capitol attack that the group has come to embrace white nationalists and other straight-up racists. I think we've gotten exceedingly lucky that more bloodshed did not happen because the potential has been there from the start. You branded them a violent, extreme group. What violence has they taken place? I know you list January 6th. Prior to that, was there any violence at all? I don't know anything about Oath Keepers. I just don't. But I ain't taking I'm not going to take this article as the gospel on what the Oath Keepers are all about. I just don't do it that way. I'm automatically turned off with any article that has the word extremist in it. Yeah, far right, far left, extremist, radical, all that stuff's a turn off to me. I mean, I that's not where Main Street America is. So I don't want to talk about it. That's just kind of the way I look at it. 229-469-1417. Chinese pair plotted mini state in Pacific Nation. A couple accused of planning gun attack on Kirchner. Europe's warm summer shatters records. Let's look at this. This is when they say shatters records. This is what I want. That's what I want to look at. I want to see. I've never dove into the climate change thing. I think y'all know that. I started to, and I got a little bit into it, and it's going to take up so much time and so much brain power and so much energy to go over stuff like that. And when I make the shift and I'm only doing this show, I'll have time to do stuff like that. I can get through these studies quicker. But y'all know me. I don't take nobody's word for it. You can call up and tell me anything you want, but I'm going to verify it, So when I read stuff, I read it, I take it in, but then I'm going to go try to make it true. And if I can make it true, it's probably true. But if I can't, then it probably ain't. That's just the way I operate. This summer was the hottest on record in Europe, according to data from the EU satellite. A series of extreme heat waves and a long-running drought saw June, July, and August shatter the previous high mark for temperature. The Copernicus Climate Change Service said the data showed August in Europe was the warmest on record by a substantial margin. Okay. I want to know the margin. That's what I'm looking for, right? Globally, the researchers say August was the third warmest yet recorded. It will come as no surprise to anyone who experiences summer's intense heat across the continent that this temperature record across Europe has been broken by a large margin. Okay, again, large margin. Let's see. According to data from Copernicus, this year saw a new record for both the summer as a whole and for the month of August. The summer was 0.4 Celsius warmer than the previous record, only set last year. August was a whopping 0.8 Celsius warmer. All right, so the question is, how much is that? And I need somebody to tell me what that means in Fahrenheit, because I live in America. I don't live in the BC or in the I don't live in the United Kingdom or Great Britain or any of that. I don't live over in Europe. So I don't know what that means. Let's see if I can Google it real quick. What is 0.6 Celsius in Fahrenheit? What is 6.6 Celsius in Fahrenheit? It says it won't even calculate 0.6. Let's put in 1. And maybe y'all got it, but y'all got it on it? No, nobody's got it on it. This is one of the math questions that hurts us. What is 1 Celsius in Fahrenheit? 1 Celsius to Fahrenheit. It's 4.6 degrees Fahrenheit. So are they saying, David, he's smarter than me for sure. So it's risen 4.6 degrees Fahrenheit. That's pretty high, I guess. Okay. There's a simple formula for that, T-Rex says. Well, then what is it, T-Rex? It's so damn simple. 0.46. Kevin says. I don't know. Here's the thing. We can get y'all can keep working on it. I ain't gonna try to do it live on air, but my question is, if it's the third, they said something that'd be the third highest on record. What's the trend over, 30, 40, 50 years? I mean, is it steadily climbing? Is it up and down? Surely someone can figure out if this is real or not. Forget the reasons. Okay. Forget, whether it's man-made or is it climate change? Forget it. The question is it getting hotter? That's all I want to know. Is it getting hotter? That's all I want to know. And I don't know if I can glean that from this article. Excuse me. I do know that some summers are hotter than some. Some are cooler. There's more rain in some. Changes all the time. I know that. The data shows that we've not only had record August temperatures for Europe, but also for the summer, with the previous summer record only being 1 year old. So, somebody smarter than me can track this and look at the last 5 years, the last 10 years, the last 15 years, and on and on and on. There's an answer there, right? Should be. Good morning, caller. You're on the Valdosta Transmission Hotline. What's on your mind?
31.6 degrees Celsius equals 88.88 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay.
Take away the 0.6, you get 87.8. So it looks like it's about 1 degree.
About 1 degree. So it's 1 degree hotter this year than it was last year, if that math is correct.
Well, this is just on a Celsius to Fahrenheit calculator on my iPad. So.
Sure, yeah. Well, I think you're probably right. It's probably around a degree. My question is what is alarming? Is it alarming because we're 1 degree hotter, or even 4 degrees hotter than we were last year? And the year before that, were we 4 degrees cooler than we are? And what will we be next year? You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
So if the average has shifted, Yeah, if
It's
the average,
alarming to some of the people. Go ahead.
what I'm saying is, let's just, if we do a 20-year look back and we see a constant increase, a steady, a pattern, when you put a graph together, it's just like the Dow Jones graph. I'm looking at the Dow Jones graph. It's easy to follow that. Yesterday's trading, it was up and down over that period of time from 9 in the morning or 10 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon when it closed. It went up and down, up and down, up and down. But the trend was at the end of the day, it rose 435 points. So you ought to be able to take a climate graph and look at every August for the past 30 years, and you plot that along that graph. And the question is it rising or is it erratic? What's the net difference between the average temperature from 30 years ago to now? And when you get that number, is it alarming? I would say that if we've risen 1 degree in 30 years, that ain't alarming to me. But if it's 5 degrees, maybe it starts getting my attention.
Yeah, I don't know what the defining line is between what's normal in nature and maybe what is not.
That's right.
I think most everything that happens in climate is normal in nature.
I tend to agree based on, again, I've not studied it, but I know this much. If you look back, and I don't know how far we can look back. I don't know how far the records go, but surely you get a more accurate picture if you go back and you look over the 100 years. You know what I mean? If you look over 100 years. Now, scientists claim they can tell you how hot it was back 10,000 years ago. I don't know if I buy all that. I would like to know, well, let me Google this while I got you here real quick. When was the thermometer invented? Okay. And because that's the only thing I know that registers temperature. The Italian Santorio, the man with 2 first last names, whatever you want to call it, is generally credited with having applied a scale to an air thermoscope at least as early as 1612. So the next, if he invented a way to measure temperature in 1612, let's just assume it worked. When did they start keeping the records? If it was from 1612, that gives us 500 plus years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To look at. So
when was the first accurate thermometer?
Yeah. And when was the first person smart enough to read the accurate thermometer? All those factor in. But, if we could go back and look 100 years, 200 years, whatever the case may be, there's information to be gleaned there. But I think, and I don't know, I may be wrong. I'm willing to look and willing to say, okay, I'm not wrong about this, but I believe that it's just changed, that there's been years that were colder than others, years that were hotter than others. I think that trend has continued. And I don't think the difference, if there is any, is catastrophic. If it's 1 degree, if on average, if you could determine we're 1 degree warmer over the past 100 years, that means in 500 years, we'd be 5 degrees warmer. So in the hottest areas of South Georgia, it would be, you go from 102 and 3 to about 108 and 109. Now that's hot as hell, but ain't nobody's face going to melt off when they walk outside.
Steve, I would take a little 105 degree temperature right now to dry some of this mess up. So
amen to that.
Maybe we could get some peanuts dug. And
God, man, I bet them farmers, maybe they can't get their equipment in the field without sinking right now, probably.
And it's only going to get worse.
Mm-hmm.
But what I can do is give you about a 40-year weather trend from Europe. I'll contact my friend that lives there in the Netherlands and see what he has to say about it.
Yeah, ask him what he thinks about that. I mean, he lives over there where they're saying it's catastrophically hot.
Yeah, and now it is. They live on a latitude that's kind of in line with Nova Scotia, Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And so they don't even have air conditioning in their home.
Wow. My in-laws.
So when it gets like this, it's pretty damn hot on them.
Yeah, and my in-laws are they live up in the UP, about an hour from the Canadian border there. They have a fine 2-story house with a finished basement, so it's basically a 3-story house. It's nice. It's probably I don't know, man, probably 4,000 square feet. You know, and it's a beautiful home, and they ain't no air conditioner in it.
Yeah. Well,
there's a heater though.
Need it that far north?
Well, they go through a period of literally about 3 weeks where it gets hot, and they could use an air conditioner, but that 3 weeks ain't worth them spending the money to put the air in it. You know what I mean? And my father-in-law, he's 70 something years old. And I've had the conversation and I asked him, I said, are the summers hotter up there now than they were when you first bought the place in 1985? And he says, hey, I can't tell the difference. He said, I can't, you know?
Yeah, so, it comes and goes.
It does. It does. I mean, what was it, John? Was it 5 years ago when it snowed real bad here? You know, and I mean, it was beautiful. It stuck and it snowed. And I mean, that's cold. And I know the climate change people will say that, you know, it's not just heat, it's extreme cold. In my life, I've seen the temperature all the way down to 6 degrees in, or maybe it was 9 degrees in Middle Georgia on a deer hunt up there. I remember being 9 degrees. And I've seen it as hot on that same day, probably as 70 degrees in my life. You know, it changes, it fluctuates. I do believe in climate change. I think it's automatic. I think it's nature.
That's right. And that's one of the few changes you can't do anything about.
No, sir. Not I know. Now the Chinese are experimenting on dropping pellets in the sky to create rain when they need it. So we'll see if they're successful with that.
Okay, well, the Chinese have been successful dropping other stuff.
You right about that.
Okay, well, I'm done. You have a great day.
You do the same, brother. We'll see you later. All right. 229-469-1417. We got about 11 minutes left in the show. Y'all make sure y'all turn into The Road to Concord at 9:05 Eastern, 8:05 Central. Host Joe back in Novick. He's got a good show planned for today. Friend I grew up with, when I was a kid, their house didn't have AC in Panama City. With my asthma, I did not stay there much. Yes, right. Do not forget to factor in the energy shortage in Europe. Yeah, that's true. They might be using the heat to mask the government's part in creating the mess in Europe right now. They very well could be. Because they do have a mess. Part of it's linked to that pipeline that comes from the Ukraine or from Russia with natural gas, but they're in a pickle. They're in a pickle. And that's going to have a trickle down effect into us over here. That's going to cause some problems. Heard a chunk of Antarctica ice the size of Florida has broke off and is going to raise the sea level by 4 inches. I saw something on that the other day. I didn't read the details, but I'm going to tell you this. If it breaks off, melts, and causes the sea to rise 4 inches, that's one big damn iceberg. 4-inch sea level rise will cause a lot of problems. I'll give you that. James William Holt, aka Water Jug. Climate change is surely real, no doubt about it. Carbon emissions are greenhouse gases. I just am convinced that human contributions outweigh natural emissions from seepage and volcanic events. I don't know, Water Jug. I've not studied it, so I'm not going to say you're right, you're wrong. I do find it odd in my lifetime that back when I was growing up, the ozone layer depletion was the climate change issue of our generation or time. And they said that we had about 11 years left before the ozone, I think it was 11 or 9 years that camp was saying. No, let's just go with 11. He said we had 11 years. This was in 1985, 86, or 84. Said if we didn't stop the ozone depletion within 11 years, we'd basically melt. We were going to die. It was going to cause so many problems, and it was just going to get amped up to a speed to which we couldn't come back from, and the world was going to end as we know it. I mean, that was the scare. 11 years, 9 years, whatever. I think it was 11. So that's when they first started talking about emission control and, the Freon situation and the aerosol cans, the hairsprays, whatever the case may be. So they started lobbying for all these changes. These changes took about, the guy said that if we implemented these things now, we may save it. But if we wait, we won't. By the time all these things got implemented, the changeover was made to the certain R whatever refrigeration, the change in the aerosol cans, just the vehicle emissions that started out in California, then finally got over here to Georgia. It took longer than 11 years to accomplish that. And yet somehow, miraculously, the ozone layer, the hole in the ozone, pretty much has repaired itself totally now. So those are the things that make me say, when it comes to the effect of humans on the planet. Now, on top of that, look at a globe. When's the last time you saw a globe? And I'm going to talk quick. A globe. Look at a globe and look at the size of the United States of America compared to the rest of the world. Very small, right? If we're going to buy into this climate change catastrophe stuff, how much of an effect is the U.S. going to have on climate change? I'd say zero. I could be wrong again. But when I look at India, China, now the tree huggers are going to say, well, that's when we should have stayed in the Paris Climate Accord or whatever. Well, if you looked at the actual guts of the Paris Climate Accord, the countries that needed to scale back weren't going to scale back at the rate that we were. And not only that, we were going to take the load for the cost of the freaking initiative to start with. I said, the truth is out there and it's buried under political rhetoric and extremely hard to find because it's an agenda. It's used. I no more believe a liberal telling me that climate change is real any more than I believe a modern day conservative telling me that it's not. The last thing I'm going to do is believe what they tell me. I got to go around them to find the truth. And because there are lobbyists on both sides of the pro-climate change and anti-climate change issue or concern, they're spending massive amounts of money in ad campaigns, misinformation on the internet, ads, hiring cronies to talk about it. Yet you see John Kerry, you see now Greta Thunberg, this girl that's, screams at everybody about climate. Her net worth now climbing. She's making money on it. You see Al Gore, who's made literally hundreds of millions of dollars off of climate change stuff. You see John Kerry, who is a climate czar now. He's a Hershey heiress or whoever, or Heinz heiress, whatever, ketchup guru heiress deal. But I mean, they're worth billions. I just, I don't know anymore. It's with everything. It's with every issue. It's politicized. It's I don't know. When we can't get behind a celebration of something or a admonishment of anything because we don't know the freaking truth. Those that don't care to really find it, those that care only about winning and beating the other side, they just swallow what their side tells them and say that the other side's wrong. I just don't operate that way. I just can't operate that way. I did operate that way up until I started in the radio and I started seeing the vast conspiracies out there, the vast different things out there. I don't know. Sherry Pyle says, how dare you? What are you talking about, Sherry? What happened? What did I miss? How dare you? Was it something I said or something somebody else said? Tell me what it is. If you don't want to put it on there, send it to me in a private message. I'll check it out. Good morning, caller. You're on the Valdosta Transmission Hotline. What's on your mind today?
How dare you?
Yeah, how
Started
dare?
that line from Miss Greta.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Oh, is that what she's talking about? Okay, gotcha. Yeah, how dare you? Okay, now I lost. I thought somebody said something. Somebody called somebody fat or ugly, so I didn't know what was going on.
No.
Okay.
Anybody ugly in this bunch is me.
Hey, look, you know what, Glenn? I'm thinking if you cleaned your act up, got your hair cut, started looking like you really cared, you might get a girlfriend. Ain't that what some girl gave you that advice, right?
She actually asked me why don't I get a haircut so I look like I got my shit.
That's funny right there.
Was her exact word.
That is hilarious. That is hilarious.
My response to her was, why so I can be like all those strung out, no job having, no car having, no homeless, behind on their child support, strung out meth heads that she's been dating in the past.
Yeah,
I got my shit together. I ain't got to pretend.
I think you do. That's right. Yeah, looks may be deceiving is what you should tell her. Oh my goodness, there that is. That's right. All right, good deal. I'm gonna get on out of here, but I got it cleared up now. I appreciate that. Greatest screaming. Joe Bakanovic says I got to speed up, drink more coffee. I don't need no more coffee. I don't think, but
I do have one quick point.
Go ahead
on the climate change.
Yeah.
Anything. If I am Acme Widget Company, and you as Al Gore come to me and tell me that the way I can fix as a company, I can fix climate change is to give him money by buying carbon credits, and that'll straighten the whole thing out. Yeah. That ought to tell you everything you need to know.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
All right, brother.
All right, see you, man. All right, bye-bye. All right, I'm out of here, folks. I appreciate it. It's been a good day. Thank y'all for tuning in. We'll get more involved in things tomorrow. I may or may not be here tomorrow. We will have the show tomorrow. Larry may sit in for me. Don't know. I got something I've got to take care of at some point, and it's not really. I don't have to do it anytime soon. It's just one of them maintenance things I got to do. One of them things I got to do that requires some travel and requires me to get there at a certain time. It's supposed to rain tomorrow, and it might be a good day to do it. My grandson Sam is having grandparents breakfast, and he lives over in Alma, and my business that I've got to take care of is over in Savannah. So I may try to kill two birds with one stone, attend the grandparents thing, and get on over to Savannah and take care of this personal matter and come on back. But if I do that, the show will go on. What I'm going to try to do, I want to be on every day. I want the show to be on every day, whether it's me or Larry or somebody else. I actually am thinking about trying to find somebody else to fill in so that the show must go on. Watch the clock, Joe says. I got to get out of the way. See y'all tomorrow. Joe Bakanovic is next. 9:05, the road to Concord. Be there or be square. I'll see you guys in the morning.
We at Freedom with Steve Nichols want to thank each and every one of you for listening. Together, we will protect, defend, and promote the freedom as our founding fathers envisioned. We believe in the spirit of the Declaration of Independence and strive to protect that spirit daily. Please thank and utilize the goods and services of our sponsors and advertisers every chance you get. For now, we bid you farewell. Have a great day.